He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if he came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape,
you are now in the
separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy.
You're crazy.
What you mean separate?
Separate? Where's a better house than this?
Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this?
Where can I have a better master than this?
In those days he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about I'm the only Negro out here.
You're just another house nigga.
I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school who knows nothing but a house Negro. And if someone comes to you right now and says, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Well, you left your mind in Africa. On that same plantation, there was a field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masters. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hole. Negro in the field didn't eat nothing but what was left of the insides of the hole. They call them chitlins nowadays. In those days, they call them what they were. Guts. That's what you were, a gut eater.
Fucking gut eater.
And some of you all still gut eaters.
Gut fucking eaters.
The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes. And he hated his master.
I said he hated his master.
I say he hated his master.
He hated his master.
He was intelligent.
He's intelligent. He's sharp.
That house Negro loved his master.
He loved his
But
master.
that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority. And they hated the master.
They hated the fucking master.
When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind. For a breeze.
Malcolm is the greatest of all time.
When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here.
Unknown caller, who is this? 1111.
This is, well, I'm not. That's not my number 101. But this is Bomani Tayemba, Africa for the Africans.
Okay, brother Bomani, hold on. Let me get you in there, man. I've been waiting on you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I pressed 1 and just been listening to the Malcolm speech.
Okay, I got you, brother. Let me go back and introduce you properly, okay?
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Our government. I even heard one say, our astronauts. They won't even let him near the plant. And our astronauts. Our Navy. That's a Negro that's out of his mind.
Yeah, lost his
That's a
mind.
Negro that's out of his mind. That's the slave master. You are wrong. The house Negro. To keep the field Negro in check. The same old slave master today has Negroes who are nothing but modern undertones, 20th century undertones, to keep you us under control, keep us happy and peaceful and non-violent. That's
Welcome back to the Step Rob Show. I'm your host, Step Rob here, Blog Talk Radio. I have my honorable brother Bomani on the line, and President to be, Brother Jonathan. Brother Bomani, how you feeling?
Greetings, family. Bomani Tamba here. I'm feeling well. I'm just ready for repatriation. And the title of our tour, Repatriation and Investments, in Africa.
That's right. That's what we're gonna have a conversation about that. How long you been doing this, bro?
Yes, I started traveling to the African continent in March of 2004. So I've been traveling to Africa 13 straight years. And I've been to 9 different countries. And I started our business, Africa for the Africans, Tours and Investment, October of 2006. And then I started doing the Ghana tours, the annual fall Ghana tours. The first one was December 2006. Then I did an annual October Ghana tour from October 2007 all the way to October 2016. And now we're doing tours every May and every November to Ghana and Ethiopia.
Okay, so give me some success stories out of that real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Some of your success stories are going to be the multitude of calls and feedback that we get from people who have traveled with us about how the journey itself has transformed their life. Some people were not everybody were on the same level of consciousness. Some people were just beginning to get into the world of Black Pan-African consciousness, and then some people, they've been in the movement for generations. But regardless of how long they were in, once they were physically made their first journey to the African continent, Ghana, with us, they were able to really put things in perspective and get a feel and a spiritual connection from the energy of their ancestors. When we go to places like Cape Coast and Elmina Holocaust dungeons, where ancestors were housed in straight up like dungeons, like military style torture dungeon chambers. And from that aspect to the aspect of the Pan-African independence movement, we go to Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, and that Memorial Park represent one of the greatest energy of a Pan-Africanist who came to America from Ghana, and being in the mix of the 40s and the 50s in America. That's like Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, the Black Power movement, and all of the powerful movements that was going on. And then he took that energy and went back to his country and became the president. And also beyond that, he understand the situations of our people in the African diaspora. So he was the second government, the first or the second government to reach out to Africans in the diaspora and offer them an opportunity to return home for nation building, offered land, offered opportunities. Other government that did that was Ethiopia under Haile Selassie in the 60s. So it's part of the reason why we go to both of these countries, because repatriation is one of those movements that's been pushed to the side. And the reason I blame, who I blame for this? I blame it on all of our scholars, and I'm not calling anybody out or anything. It's just our scholars had the greatest access to the minds of our people that had interest in Africa, and what they did, they just took them on educational journeys to Africa and brought them back. There was no type of energy set up for investments and repatriation, nation building. So during my time in the movement of consciousness of watching all these conscious videos in 2003 before I began on my practical move in 2004, that's basically what I saw. And I was like, I realized that, because I was getting fed up with the plantation. I had one of those good plantation jobs that comes with the turf of this white people feeling like they can boss you around. I was an aircraft technician for the airlines. I don't want to put the airlines out there, because that's one of certain things doesn't represent what they're about. But it's and it's just like if I was working at any other airlines, but I'm here in Atlanta, deep in the South, so some of these redneck boys who they feel like that they could just boss around a brother and everything. But it's part of that challenging things. But when when you get to that point where you build these skills and you feel like and people still don't respect you, you know what I mean, you got to realize that, hey, might as well I take my my skills somewhere where people are gonna respect me. So during that time of this being dealing with that, I started coming to the consciousness of realizing that I'd rather be somewhere where where I can really just grow and build. So I had flight benefits, so I took the opportunity to start traveling to Africa, and I started buying trips. I paid for the first trip I paid for was to Egypt with Dr. Ranoka Rashidi, and then another trip I went with friends of mine to Senegal. So that started that initial energy. So
I want to ask you, brother,
sure.
that's a lot there. I got some more questions for you. Can you
Sure.
tell me which countries are open to repatriation right now?
Ghana and Ethiopia, the number one and two countries that we're dealing with. No, I would never say that, but it's based on us outreaching. I've been to 9 countries, so it's still many countries I've never been to, and many African countries I don't know like nothing about. Like I can just pick a random country, and then you ask me anything about it, I probably don't know anything about it. What I do know is about Ghana and Ethiopia based on my travel experience and research, and when I look at countries and the layout and things that will connect someone like myself that was born in Jamaica, born in that movement that our ancestors were taken from West Africa, and just being in a country like Ghana, you see certain elements of your upbringing in Jamaica, and you also see certain things as far as just the energy of Pan-Africanism in America, and you see your own brothers and sisters from the diaspora that's living there and doing well for themselves. And then, when I think about all of the people I meet and all of the countries I hear about, it's not really much you hear about. So Ghana became one of those popular energy of, before for me it used to be Senegal and the Gambia, but it was never really, a big push in those countries as far as repatriation or people who have lived there for 10, 20, 30 years. So when I went to Ghana, the elements of repatriation was all there.
What was the vibe over there in those 2 places?
Oh, I love Senegal and the Gambia. It's great. Gambia remind me of it's the same size as Jamaica, same about population, and the energy of the people is about the same, and the struggle is the same. Only difference is when I talk about West Africa, I'm talking about some of the most peaceful countries that you will ever go to in your entire life, and it's not so much when I'm talking about the different parts of of the U.S. and then certain parts of the Caribbean. And the main reason why Africa is so peaceful and not violent like somehow people think, but because they might have heard about the civil war in Liberia, they might have just think that all of Africa is going crazy. But those things also, there's a lot of things that went on beyond us, all of our overstanding. But what I can tell people is the 9 countries I've been to, especially the Ghana and Ethiopia. When I'm around. Even when the first time when I started going to Senegal, we spend time out, we go places, we put ourselves in a position to where if people were really vicious and bad people, they would do bad things to us, like rob us, kidnap us, and do things. We never had any issues and any problems. So from 2004 traveling the African continent, I just started realizing that we've just been lied to all our lives. Because it's like I figured by this time somebody should have pull out guns and rob us, or hold up our tour bus, or someone should be sending fine sisters there to the hotels to scheme on us. I'm like, we should be something, or when we go to the beaches, people should be trying to take our cell phones and do things. And it's like, I've been around the country from the villages to the city mall to the late night clubs to out in so-called bad areas. And it's just nothing but love, man. And if I try to, 90% of the things I do in Africa, I would never put myself and do here in Georgia or in parts of the U.S. because I'll be terrified. Because I see how these people even do to their own people. Like I was telling myself.
Let me add to what you just said. I was in Kenya, right? I was in Kenya and I was hanging out, and I just started getting drunk, and I was like, okay, I'm cool. And then my friends went one way, and I just went another way. So I wound up hanging out with some brothers, a couple of cab drivers. They were taking me to a bunch of clubs, and all I remember is getting in the back of the car, and that was it. I woke up, I was in somebody's house naked, but all my clothes was washed and folded on the side over there.
That's Africa right there for you, brother. Welcome to Africa. Hospitality at the finest.
Yeah, man, I was like, oh man, I woke up in the night there, man. motherfucking bed. I was like, damn, hold on, this would have never. I'm a Chicago player. That would have never happened over here. Never.
For real. Yeah, I don't take those chances in America too.
I was real shocked. And these guys, man, you know, that whole day, man, they was hanging out with me, taking me to meet people, driving here, driving there. I was meeting more people. Everybody wanted to hug me and stuff. I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, if you're just in America, they've been laughing at how you got drunk and how you got all kind of stuff, and they'll probably play games with you and things like that. But yeah, it's just the culture and it's like when you think about when you share these stories, it's like that's where you want to raise your children, your family, have your wife. You know what I'm saying? Not in like a violent society where every time you turn around, some crazy lunatic is shooting up a school, a bar, a club, a movie theater, a concert, something. You know, or people are breaking levees and flooding our neighborhoods. You know what I mean? It just never stop. Or bombing Oklahoma City, or just so on and so on. So for me, it's like, at what point do we say, well, this is not an environment where I need to raise my family, no matter how great the infrastructure, no matter how big of TVs that they have where I can just walk into Best Buy and grab one. All kind of just it's like whatever you desire in America, I feel like you can enjoy it twice as better in Africa, because number one, you have the rich cultural environment. Number two, you can plant and grow anything you need. You can like here where I live at, only access of water I have is when I go right there to the water company and pay their bill every month. And if I decide that I want to do some alternate method of water, they might sue me. So in Africa, you can do catch water system and do a pump and filter in it, or you can do borehole water and so on. And then you're not really in a zone.
Let me tell you where you read. I know that here, right? I have been looking into the solar panels and everything and all that, and I'm here. You can't just go ahead and throw a solar panel on your house. They want you to go ahead and get a contractor, look at it, or possibly do the work. They got to approve it. They got to send the building inspector out. But then, here's the crazy part. You can't house your energy on your property. The electric company has to get involved. They house your energy and sell it back to you at 20%.
I love it, man. That is America right there for you. It's like anything that you build or you're doing, they gotta have a piece of it. It's like they like the mafia gangsters at the highest level. You know what I mean? And they feel like they have to get a piece of everything that you're about or what you do, and you just get tired of that bondage. And that's where I find freedom in Africa, to where the land that we acquired for our business enterprise and to push for the repatriation movement, it's not even zoned. You know. It's how incredible it is.
No, I'm gonna veer off just a little bit. In the black hair care industry, I heard, I don't know if I got my information, but they were trying to make a whole lot of sisters go ahead and get licensed to do a lot of black hair.
You know what?
Special license. Not just your regular beautician license, but you had to have additional license.
Yeah, I don't put these things past these folks. I'm not familiar with all these things about licensing in here, but I can believe that those things go down.
No, the only reason I brought that up was to go ahead and add to what you just said. You know, America's got to go ahead and have their hand in everything, and we try to go ahead and do something to advance us. They got to go ahead and make some hurdles and stop. I mean, right now, you know, the Koreans are spearheading that, and you got to basically go through them to go ahead and get a lot of stuff. What happened to our black chemists? That's why I wanted to go ahead and do this show, to go ahead for you to explain what existing opportunities are there on the continent, so we don't have to go ahead and keep going on about these screwed up stories.
Absolutely. On all phases of what you need in your life and what we need to get done is needed in Africa. The main thing I'll put it in perspective on is that whenever we do it, we have to think about being self-reliant at the highest level. Even when we start buying and purchasing machines from India or different Asian countries, Japan, China, what we have to think about is that, you know, whatever machines and things that we're doing, we have to do it at a level to where we know the ins and outs at the highest level. We have to go from just being workers and being managers and owners and builders and organizers. So, say example, we want to build an incredible IT corporation that has, you know, from call center to maintenance repair to, you know, research and development. You want to make sure that Well, it's one of the things that bad situations is like all technology equipment is built by other people, but we do have to even look towards to the fact that we need to start building these things ourselves, and everything is based on acquiring machines. So um, think of the aspect of more manufacturing, where we build warehouses and we get machines that we need, and we're doing food processing because so much, you're in a tropical country, so Ghana, everything grows, every fruit and vegetable that you ever saw or think about in your life, and a whole lot more grow in that country. Country's in the middle of the world, 0 coordinates. So, just think of how blessed you are. So what you have to do is think about the resources that get waste, fruits, vegetables, canned juice. You think about land investment, building communities, building homes using local materials so you can empower local people versus one of the things we get into the habit of is where no matter where we are in the world or what it is like we always got to get some stuff from white folks. It's like, we have to get into the habit of incorporating our own folks and everything. So everything that we need is also made there in Ghana. You have skilled, talented people that you can use to, if you're looking to build a business enterprise and you need people to, that are ready to take on challenges, you have access to people there. So from the labor to the different business, from technology, manufacturing, to this business outsourcing, to import, export, to any kind of development, to clothing, food, it's all there. You just have to come with your business plan, get you and your folks together, and also just spend time in the country, learn the culture, and then let us connect you with all the wonderful people that we know. One of the things is once you come on our journey, we have 2 incredible conferences, so we share and connect you with all of the people that we know and all of the energies. So that also helped to make that move.
Yeah, but so some comes to mind. So
Sure.
individuals who don't want to go, who just want to go ahead and be part of the labor force, just be there, be part of the labor force, or just be there. They don't have money and stuff like that. They're not even to make the flight. Is there a group out here trying to go ahead and help just funding individuals trying to come on?
None that I know of personally. What I do suggest, because when I was growing up in New York, one of the things I always realized that, it's like folks, our folks got a lot of money because I always see all folks with like the nicest clothes and the nicest everything. And I'm just remembering that because I was just fresh from Jamaica and we didn't have anything like that. So I always saw how, I was like, wow, and when I started seeing the prices of what these clothes cost, I was like, I thought that all these people was just rich and they was just living in the ghetto because it was just what it is. And, but the reality of it is we just have to learn discipline. Just like I myself, I'll be honest with people. I don't even, I live in Atlanta. I don't even go out. I work every day, and right now I got 2 computers that I'm working on. And in the morning, you head out, you go, you do work, and you make those sacrifices. And but then when I'm in Africa, whenever I travel, I have all the things I need to just really enjoy myself and really connect. But it's like we can't have it all. And if you see me, none of the stuff I have is gonna be like a $500 jeans pants or $2,000 sneakers. It's like so it's like when you start calculating that, those are the additional cash that you can use. When you're not trying to get a goatee shave up and a haircut every few days, and you're not out there just buying bottles and out there just tricking on every chick. All those things make a difference. And when you just become serious about your business, and then you're willing to do a little extra work on the side, and we all can achieve that. Yeah, traveling to Africa is not cheap; it is expensive, but it's just like anything else. You just have to want it. It'd be nice if we can all just get up in this. We get our repatriation money, and we go get a flight to Africa and then and leave. But the reality of it is, we want people to understand that they have to make sacrifice, and the sacrifice that you make is good sacrifice because. Like right now I'm working on trying to collect as much deposit this month like I do every year, because I know once I start hitting the November and December I can forget about it, because people, no matter how conscious or pro-black or whatever they are, people have children, people have family, and then the season does take over some people. I'm literally just on lockdown like for the whole period of the 6 weeks, and the only thing I would do is just straight work here, and not everybody's willing to make that sacrifice. But if you calculate the amount of money you save by going on lockdown for the last 6 to 8 weeks of the year, you have enough money to travel to Africa every year. Because
let me show you. A plan you might an idea maybe you can expand on. A whole lot of Negroes who can't wait to go ahead and get their tax return, right?
That's another one.
So
Also,
I think that after January, the first week of January, you should be putting it out there. Then, hey, don't be spending your money on this stuff that you don't need. Go on ahead and get that vacation, or go ahead and invest in this trip. Use that tax refund on that trip. Because like people be going here and conniving and getting money. Why not go ahead and spend your $5,000 and $10,000 on going ahead and taking that trip and making it a business investment? See what I'm saying?
absolutely, and I feel like that's the way that we should move. And one of the things that because I remember how I grew up also. One of the things that we don't push in our family setting is we don't push the value of careers and push the value of the value of investing and becoming more into entrepreneurship. Like what I've been teaching my son since he's 2 years old is just straight up, this business enterprising, learning all from the basic to the advanced of this, having your equipment and being about your business. And if you have a car, like the vehicle, put a Bomani technology service and consultation sign on there. Don't make no sense me drive that vehicle around and this, it just costs me money. It brings in business. The home we have here, you walk in here, it looked like a straight 22nd century travel Black Power nation building tour and investment operation and technical center. And and it's just if you have a big house, you can work it somewhere. If you have a small house or a small space, but we have to build a mindset to where we begin to use these tools. We all have access to computers. You have a computer, a printer, you have a little file section. And you learn a little course online how to do a specific specific work. You have to get in the habit of just building business, because the good thing about business is if all of us had a business, we can all support each other and we don't have to spend money with nobody else. I think that's how the so-called Jewish folks and other people operate, where they can dominate us.
Right. See, that leads me to this. That's one reason I'm big on the farming thing. So being in Ghana. Farming, agriculture, but mining also. Everything that we need comes from the ground. So I think that it's a bigger push to be going ahead and trying to deal with those two things, how we eat, and then the things that we need to get from the ground. Of course, we need the tree. But, some of those minerals that we can get from the ground, go ahead and do what we need to do. Mining is a real big thing there, isn't it?
Absolutely. So that's why I decided that when people ask me where would you get the land at over the last 10 years, I was like, what, I gotta see other parts of Ghana, and I gotta really just put all this in perspective. But out of all the parts of Ghana we went to, I realized that being in the center of the country works good for us, because being in the center of the country, you have access to the agricultural base of the country, and also the most abundant access of land in the country. So then you can do all your mining, your agriculture. And once the cash flow come online or business start growing, you can use that to acquire additional land. And Malcolm talk about all the time. Land investment is the base of independence. We have land, we build communities. We have land, we grow the food we need. We build the things we need infrastructure wise. Like our business, we spend so much money on lodging, and it's fine because all of it goes to black-owned hotel companies that that need the resources to keep going. But at the same time too, we can expand off into building our own lodging facility, at least in one of the 4 regions where we do our travel, and begin to put ourselves in a position where we can get into most of the vehicles you're going to drive nowadays, or in the future in Africa, is going to be diesel vehicle. So then you want to get into thinking about manufacturing your own fuel, biodiesel. You can get a biodiesel machine, grow some of the crops, and use your trash to create your own fuel, do more recycling than anything else. So it puts you in a situation where like Accra is nice and people love it, and and I'm always trying to get people to get away from being hypnotized and realize, let them understand that we came in the country to be a part of the growth in the future, and we don't want to get stuck into the same cities that we dread in America, because it's like everybody and mother want to live in a city, which creates great opportunities for us to build further out. And also it makes the price real good as far as when you get looking to get land. Because like in Techimon and Bronghofer region, for 1 acre you're looking at about $2,000 US. That same 1 acre you're looking at about $20,000 to $40,000 in Accra.
Wait, go back up with the numbers again. That one acre land over is what?
1 acre of land in the center of Ghana in Techimon and Bronghofer region, which is 7 hours into the country, is $2,000 per acre. And then in Accra, you're looking at anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 for 1 acre of land. You may be able to get it for less based on different parts of where you are, but that's the difference in the cost of land. And then when you look at it, it's just you're dominated by the same folks. The same folks who, because it's incredible. I never thought I'd see Accra like that. They building malls after malls and highways and byways and everything. So when people talk about Africa, it's like all the things you need is there. Is this, so you're not limited. People like myself, what I want out of Africa, I want to be able to build sustainable communities because I feel like that's where it's at. We have to build the things that we need. We spend a lot of our money on rent and mortgages. We spend a lot of our money on food, a lot of our money on fuel, a lot of our money on childcare. And all of those things just take all of our resources. And if you're building that more in a communal center, you can use the resources to build you a super city, and you can expand and expand. For people like myself, you want to own things, and you want to be a part of a future. You don't want to always just be the slave. We've been glorified slaves in this country for so long, to the point where we just feel like, we feel good about it, to where they're talking about $40 million slaves and things like that. But here in modern day Africa, Africa is calling, and they might not be thrown out the red carpet like that in different countries, but we have our own brothers and sisters there from the African diaspora. And when we get there, we're going to be doing a bigger call out, because we feel like a lot of our people will really benefit from taking advantage of these opportunities, especially like wanting to be further out. Because you think about it, what if we were able to build sustainable cities? How much richer would we be as people?
So, now I got to ask you, what type of staff do you have? What kind of people do you have working with you?
Yeah, I got folks here and folks there in Ghana. But what we do is just tourism. So tourism, but at the same time, too, we're all conscious folks about using that energy of tourism to build the future of what we're looking to do. Because if it wasn't for tourism, like people like myself wouldn't know about Techimon and the Bronghofer region. When you look at that, it's like a small town in a small in a big region, but so it's just having the access to explore.
So there's a lot of growth in Accra. So getting a farm there and going ahead and making and creating fresh produce, and then eventually going in and having restaurants or a market, your own supermarket, U.S. type, I won't say U.S. type, but a supermarket, big market, that would be a lot easier to do. Would that go ahead and be beneficial to go ahead and get that farm?
Yes, exactly, but you're just not going to do it in Accra. Number one, you're not going to find land like that in Accra. Number two, if you're going to do supermarkets, them Lebanese are going to take you out. They run all the chains of supermarkets and things like that. So people like myself realize that it was by faith. It brings you to an area where it's a small town. They have electricity, they have running water, but it tells you that, hey, maybe we need to build something from the ground up and build it somewhere where no one else is at. And then we have the claim to it. Marry into the family. Marry into the family. Brothers and sisters, marry into the family, literally. And we begin to just build a new phase. So I'm realizing
what's the deal with the Lebanese? Explain the Lebanese connection.
The Lebanese, the Chinese, the Japanese, or any other invaders that are there, they just see Africa as a great opportunity, and they have the resources backed by their government and backed by their family to open up any kind of business enterprise, from restaurants to any kind of service facility to putting their money together to do joint ventures for building malls and so on. So no one is stopping them from coming in. They have the rights just like anyone else to travel and do business. And I mean, I can't blame them for loving Ghana. I mean, the women are fine, the culture is beautiful, the weather's nice. People are cool, friendly, and our people are hospitable. So our people don't well, some of our people are waking up to seeing that these people are not friends. They might hire you and create opportunities, but at the same time, to everyone who's coming in, goal is to dominate you. For our people to be their just like we are here, modern day slaves. But it's just you being modern day slave in your own country. Because if everybody else come from outside and come in and they have all of the opportunities and all access to everything, and you just poor folks, it's like next thing you know, you have Asians and other folks and Arabs owning Africa. So it's really up to us to make these moves, and that's why people like myself do what we do, because other people, there's many people out there that I'm sure that maybe have access to certain things, and all they need is just a good connection with some good quality people who got things going on, and then formulate the perfect marriage of
So I got,
nation building.
here's my, okay, so what is the strategy, or can you give it to me? Strategy to put that information out there. Hey, who's 626?
What's up, man?
You got a lot of noise there, bro.
Yeah.
What is the strategy? What would be the marketing plan to go ahead to open the eyes of individuals over here?
Yeah, as far as me,
What
my
would you
marketing
say?
plan is always simple, and that's just my one angle. My one angle is full documentation, pictures, videos, going to the African continent, showing the little progress of the things that we do, like acquire land, showcase the folks who are building and doing certain things, network and connect them, and that's how we've been formulating success stories, and that's how most of our folks who come to our program and then connect with our people and about certain things, they end up not coming back. And I realize that compared to the folks who go on their own and come back. So, the strategies is also getting people into the program, because the program of the tour, it goes into a whole process of nation building. It's beyond just a tour itself. The good thing about a tour, you can write the programs of things you need, the business conference. When you go to the sites, you're being educated about nation building, about the great brothers and sisters who came before you, learn about the struggles and situations that have caused issues in our history, where we just realize that we got to make sure these things never happen again. We go access to places like our Kumasi, and you see all aspects of investment and business that you can be a part of. That's where all of the craft villages are. So all of that ties us into being in a country where we can begin to do business with our own and be able to take care of ourselves and be able to live without having to make $4,000 or $5,000 every month that we're gonna end up giving back to white folks. So for me, the strategy is simple. Well, I can start and I can give another detailed flow of it. But in my angle, it's really to get you on one of these journeys to Africa and start that other process. But beyond that, most people need to have some kind of skills, because whenever I talk to a lot of people and I tell them that the situation is that we'll be in the middle of the country and it's just land, so we have to be able to do everything. We have to be able to run wires, lines. We have to be able to build sustainable homes. We have to be able to create the power system, the water system. We have to contain our sewage and all the things that we've been so used to, where we just work a job and we go buy a house, or we just hire a builder to build us whatever we want. In this situation, you're gonna have to do everything with your bare hands, and everything that you can begin to teach and train your children and share with your family and friends, and so there'll be nothing that you need that you don't know how to build. So I know that's like a quick from like A to Z, but for me it's that simple, and it's for some of us it's going to take a longer process. But if nothing else, I tell everyone to learn a skill, even if you have to join a military force and just get one of those good training programs and learn how to build or do something. That way, when you connect with other brothers that can do certain things, everyone can put in something. And then naturally, if you are not very talented or so on, general farming and general things is what anyone can do, and doing apprentice work is what anyone can do. But I want people to get into the mentality that we have to build from the ground up.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, so it's not for everybody. I'll be the first one to tell you. That's why I roll with a very small crew of people, because you have to be a soldier in this, and if you're not ready, you have time. But we need people who are ready, and that's how we keep it going. Like I've had about several people to move there, They were ready. They had certain things in place, and then once we put certain other things in place for them, they was able to connect on, and most of them connect and network work with each other and kind of look out and depend on each other.
Okay, so what exactly do you have going on at the moment? What's going on there right now? If I go ahead and fly there tomorrow, what would I be looking for?
Yeah, you'd be probably lost because you'll be in a world where many things are going on. So if you go with myself, then you'll be in a different world. Because then, but in general.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I would want to go. Okay, so I got to go with you. There's no other connection over there already. I can go ahead and deal with somebody there. I got to go with the tour, right?
Exactly, it's because I connect with everything else. It's hard to just meet random people, and then when you do, even when you have coworkers that you work with that are from Ghana, when they do take you to Ghana, majority of things that we have on the tour, they never even know. They don't even know about. They don't even know it even exists. Like I have Ghanaians that actually travel with me, and they just be like fascinated. They be like this. They be like they didn't know this was in Ghana. But it's when you're in like I'm from Jamaica, but there's many people who know way more than Jamaican than me because they do tourism, they travel, they do business. So mine is just based on my experience about being around 6 out of the 10 different regions during Ghana. So what you see when you get to Ghana is you see a vibrant city, Accra. But where we would take you to is we'll take you into one of the more prominent neighborhoods, a nice so-called middle class neighborhood. It's called East Legon, one of the more popular neighborhoods in West Africa because of a multitude of different folks from stars, celebrities to to some of the more popular business and hotels that's in that exclusive neighborhood. So when you step in there, you at least see a nice African neighborhood with nice homes, nice community layout, and you see you don't see what people may showcase you as poverty. You see riches and people really enjoying life, but you also see the hustle and the bustle of people working on the streets and selling things and things like that. It seems like every time I go to Ghana, it's always like nice and cool. It's like I'm always saying that it's like the perfect weather. And then what you're gonna get is that people are so friendly. So if you see a nice sister and you're talking with her, she'll be very open and friendly. Your brothers are gonna say, "Hey, what's up?" And it begins to give you that feeling of being home because and then you start thinking about where you came from and how people are so tense, especially when I used to grow up in New York. It's like people look at you like what you looking at, like they ready to fight you because you're looking at them. You know what I'm saying? Or
it ain't just New York, man.
well, I'm giving an example of this growing up in New York, because even down here in the South, it's not as bad, but you see some of that also. In America itself, you don't get that friendly feeling, and it's like whenever you're going to a store here, if it's like everybody and their mama want to watch you, and they got their cameras and they got the mirrors in the back. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean, no matter even if you come in there looking sharp like you doing business or something, it's just after a while you just get frustrated from that. When you go to Ghana and just the level of love you get shown, and one of the things I don't see is the multitude of homeless people. Whenever you go to any major city in America, from Detroit, LA, Atlanta, New York, that's a number one heartbreaker for myself. The multitude of homeless people. I go to Ghana, I can literally count about 2 or 3, maybe about 10 total since all the trips I've been on. But even when I'm out in Accra late at night, I don't see that. And the level of humanity that people have for people who don't have. Like if there's a restaurant and they know that there's a few people outside that don't have, after the restaurant about to close, whatever they have, they'll share with the folks. Here, they'll just throw it away and look at the people in their face and throw it in the garbage.
No. I'm a chef.
All right, what y'all do?
You throw it in the garbage. You back there getting in the garbage. They call the police.
Oh, man.
Okay? They'll call the police on you. So you got to wait for the person that's going through the trash. They got to wait for everybody to go ahead and leave out of the restaurant. Then you also had some people that do some, even though they throw it in the garbage, they throw all kinds of stuff on that. It's horrible, man.
And they know people are starving out there.
You had it wrong about the restaurant.
I was probably trying to be a little nice. I was probably trying to be a little nice.
Because they're dealing with the food thing. They throw away a lot of food here, a lot of stuff. I was with the federal government for a long time. and different times they have food, man, they'd rather throw that in the garbage. If there's something that's going in the garbage and you go ahead, like if you're at the federal, working for the federal government, if you go ahead and take that from that facility, that's larceny. Your ass going to jail. You more than likely they'll discipline you somehow, and then they might, depending on the person who catch you, they might try to send you to jail. That's how they do here in America. So that thing that you said about the restaurants over there, I can relate. I'd rather do that over there like that than do what I see here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a level of humanity to where I've seen the way I see. I mean, I look at the way people get treated that are like, that what you consider homeless or poor folks, or somebody that's like somebody that may be a mad or a crazy person. And I look at that and that's the only thing I can literally do. I can just only compare what I've experienced living in America and what I've experienced living in Africa. And sometimes people make it seem like I have these unfair comparisons. I was like, I'm telling people what I live. It's like I'm doing computer work at a school a few days ago, and pop up right on my computer screen, crazy man killing 50-something people in a mass shooting on top of a hotel and injuring 500-something person. I was like, did they was it like one of these crazy folks that escaped from the military and this went ballistic based on something? But it's like you're like living and dealing with this stuff every day, and then you have to explain this to your child and things like that. And it's like you wake up every day and you wonder, is this where I want to build my family, build my future, and where I want to build a career, and is where I want to, it's like let me be realistic. And it's like I'm asking more and more people, to think about that process, think about it, and just stop falling for the smoke screens of these fake conscious clowns who talk about black power, but then they want you to, then they telling you that Africa is here or we built America and all kind of foolishness. It's not about who built this or who did what. It's about the safety and the security of the future of your family and your children and your people. We're not, no one, I don't know who is safe here. If a white man can kill a bunch of his own people, it's like, I mean, in the level of things that have happened.
You know what? I see these things as recruitment tools, so you can go ahead and get people to come to the country. To get individuals to wake the hell up, you built this and all this other stuff, but you here at home in this crap, it don't make no sense. You can't be at home here. How long
if somebody's killing your children every day, you're gonna keep on saying we built this. I'm not gonna go nowhere. We built this. You know what I'm saying? Bob Marley had one of those songs. You run away to live to fight another day. So people like myself, they can call it what they want. We be in Africa, and we be able to do and build the things that we need to build. So we're saving our lives and realize, because not every fight you need to fight. Sometimes you have a fight that it doesn't make no sense you fight it because you're just gonna get massacred, and running away and coming up with a different plan might be a better idea for the future and survival of your children. It's make no sense for us to just, just kind of like if somebody just put us in the front line and we just like glorifyingly just walking in front of bullets. I just feel like that's what we're doing here by just keep on accepting things.
I'm gonna give you another one. We're gonna push it on. You get mowed down by this lawnmower, this lawnmower all the fucking time. You ain't got no defense for the damn lawnmower. None at all. You ain't got no strategy to shut it off or go ahead and stop the person from pushing the lawnmower on you and go ahead and mowing your ass down. Like a big fan that we go ahead and just keep mowing us. I don't get it, and I'm sick of it. I keep trying to go ahead and do some things, or I keep getting locked into this. Every time I try to go ahead and make that move, there's something go ahead and yank me back a little bit.
Exactly. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Distractions. There's many things out there that's just designed to keep us back here, and it's a hard fight. And it's taken me a while to make that full move. And so at the same time too, it's like you're trying to do the best you can do to get things in place. That way you can be set up for that move. But it's something that what you have to begin to do is just make those necessary sacrifices and let go little by little of the things. Like some of us have friends that are very dangerous. They influence us in the worst habits. And as much as you love them, even your family members, it's one of the things I had to learn, and I had to let a lot of things and people go, and I had to rebuild a consciousness of connecting with people who were about things, about certain things. And that's what we've been able to to achieve a lot, because everybody I deal with, it's like this, like certain conversation I don't have to even entertain. Like I don't have to ever entertain conversation of any of my peers talking about we sold each other into slavery and all kind of stuff about how great white people are, and it makes life so much more focused. You have some of these clowns that that they now that's all like the Malcolm intro. They love their master more than the master love themselves.
Yeah, I played it.
One of my favorite Malcolm.
Man.
Nobody explained it better than Malcolm.
Yeah, and it just seems to get worse, man. It's like, man, you're going to have to do something.
Like you have super coons.
Okay, so you keep waving at it, but you don't go ahead and get rid of that fucking dog or kill it. Just let the dog keep biting your ass. And I don't get it. I can't take it no more. I got to get that. I got to stab that dog. I'm sick of them marks. And you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't do nothing. They got you.
Well, this has been the worst year of the dog attacks.
And you allowing it. This is the crazy part. A lot of our people allow this shit to happen and don't want to go ahead and go no further.
Well, this has been one of those years. The year that started with number 45. and it's been one of the worst set of years that people have seen, with violence and hatred. And to let you know that if you thought that America was going to get better so you can have this wonderful life and be around your white friends and be all happy and everything all nice, if this wasn't a wake-up call this year, I don't know what else is going to be a wake-up call. The next wake-up call would have to be literally folks in the underground getting gassed or something, or getting put in mass graves.
Let me tell you something real quick. And you mentioned the guy, the shooter in Las Vegas. It came out, I think, last night or this morning, that this guy had booked hotel rooms in Chicago and Boston. And the hotels he had booked were close to venues where they were going to have outdoor concerts. And the one here in Chicago would have been like 100,000 people.
Probably a lot of black people in this one. Were they all cowboy concerts or country music, whatever the hell they call that shit?
No, it was Lollapalooza, that kind of thing.
I mean, I never seen no shit like that where the so-called great white man just want to kill off his own people. Maybe he heard it in a dream or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what triggered these people. I don't know if somebody is like triggering these people to go out there and just like execute people, do crazy stuff. But one thing I noticed that is many other parts of the world, many other countries in the world, and they don't have to deal with this stuff that we have to deal with every day. And and that will be the different African countries that are waiting for us to return home. So we just couldn't.
What would you go ahead and say to somebody who would go ahead and compare that to some of the slaughter that's been going on in Africa, where basically in those war zones? But what would you go ahead and how would you go ahead and what would be your response to that situation?
Yeah, the response is a lot of civil war and drama that we're facing in Africa after independence, or before independence, or before or after colonialism, or during neo-colonialism, whichever the period is during the last several decades. It's been perpetrated by our oppressors who realized that the continent and the countries in the Caribbean, they're pushing for independence, and they just have to literally flow with that and come up with some alternate strategies to regain the country. So supplying one set of people with guns and propagating war and things like that. I've been to the African continent enough to really be around our people and see the level of humanity. And just like anybody else, we all can snap. But when you have an oppressive race of people that are constantly propagating drama with us by instigating issues, by fueling one side against another side, guns, drugs. It's painful, and I'm not saying our people shouldn't take any accountability or responsible for that, but at the same time too, when these people do evil and wicked stuff, I'm not around like telling them go kill white people, do this, or telling them to go hurt their own people. No one is, we're not. It's like they're just sick people. Our folks, when we get into violence and things like that, level of, where maybe one side of us is being deprived of food or boundaries of things, and we got to go clash with our own people. It's like we'll never know the level of sick stuff, including how our people were stolen from Africa, what our oppressors contributed to it. Yes, we should take some level of responsibility, but at the same time too, we have to realize that it's a sickness of who we're dealing with, and that's why we have to make sure we do our best to separate and build a world where we can protect ourselves from these people, because they have done nothing but everything with them is just war and just demonic and evil and wickedness. Like number 45, it's like I'm trying to, it's like I don't know what he got in store. I remember number 43 had the country in Afghanistan. I had so many of our young boys killed in an unjust war in Afghanistan and Iraq. So
you ain't dealing with their names. You just dealing with their numbers, huh?
Oh yeah, 43 and 45, two wicked, evil, white devil bastards. And then number 44 is this, is that the other strategy of this using that mulatto Negro to control and confuse the masses of African people in America, because his father was African and his mother was this white woman that's supposed to be like a humanitarian. So they mix that pollution and just offer that to us, and we're supposed to accept this person that doesn't overstand the majority of us, doesn't never been through our struggle as a people, the majority of people here. So it's, we're constantly be given different, it's just all strategies to just throw us off. That's why people like myself are just believe that we must stay focused, and because we, whether it's number 45 or whatever number 46 is gonna be, what I'm saying, we can't depend on any of these clowns to because all of them are gonna say, like, I think number 45 was saying the blacks love me and I'm gonna do all these things for the blacks, and and number 44 didn't do anything for the blacks. So I'm me being number 45, I'm gonna, which is a unique number, I'm gonna just like do all these things for the blacks. And as you can see, that man ain't thinking about all them folks anymore. He just played them just like everybody else. And then if he do try to run again, he's gonna do the same scam artist, and people you're gonna see all these black folks as for the Republican Party or this party and talking about their country and all this foolishness. It's like, we just really realistically have to wake up. Unfortunately, people want to be aligned with whatever the power structure is. It's just like just like always jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like going to Africa and building sustainable homes and being off the grid and doing all these things for yourself. That's definitely not the most popular thing. But at the same time too, it doesn't have to be. But we're trying to market and share as much. And for those who are open, they can connect. And for those who do have no interest, only thing I ask them to do is just stay out our way or get run over, because we can't have Negroes and coons just consistently just getting our way. Because historically they've been the first one to run to mass, and usually while they run into mass about to tell, you got a brother on the side to take them out.
Hey, let me ask you. Okay, I want you to do this real fast. I want you to tell everybody about your tour company.
Yeah, absolutely, family. Our website is africafortheafricans.org. And Africa for the Africans website represent our reconnection to the African continent. It's a program that's built to connect you at the highest level to where you're connected with the roots, the culture, business, investment, nightlife, shopping, networking, things laid out for you. And then for those who have never been, we have video footage of all of the tours we have done, and photos to give you a full feel of the beginning and end of the tour, and just all aspects of what we do. That way you're clear. So while you're on the website africafortheafricans.org, you see an MP3 player with this collection of this conscious and love music. We call it Love and Revolution. And for the aspect of nation building. Excellent. And then the photos represent the 9 African countries I've been to. Ghana, Togo, Benin, Senegal, Gambia, South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia, and they showcase different photos just to show people the beauty, the culture, and the history of the African continent. So it's just in presentation form. Once you flow down to the site, you'll see the 14 tours I've done in Africa. The last 14 tours, you'll see 1 Brazil, 1 Ethiopia, and then 12 Ghana tours. And then on the main menu, you'll see the list of the upcoming tours that we have. Next year, the current tour I got next is November 17th to December 1st. That's Ghana, Togo, Benin, and it's we are filled up the entire bus. The bus holds 41, and there's 41 of us, and we are ready to make that magical return. Last time I went to Ghana, Togo, Benin was 2009. All other tours are just Ghana only. So that journey is filled. So the only thing we have is for next year, May 2018, Ghana. It's May 23rd to June 5th, and we're going to do 4 regions in Ghana, including going to Techima, the Branghafa region, where you can get a quarter-acre of land and be a part of Benue village, and then see the aspect of the repatriation village that we build in, and get connected to this.
How much is the quarter acre?
$500 US. And then you can literally build like a nice town, a 2-floor house on there, and have a little, have some basic things around the property. And then you're part of a community, so you share everything. People grow and share, share food, and everything is just communal. And that's the only way I feel like we can make it, is getting back into that sense of communal. Because before we had African countries, we had just communities all over the African continent, or what we call ethnic groups, or what we really call nations.
Let me ask you a quick question. So what black groups here in America that I can go ahead and get with, or do you know of, that can go ahead and give me the idea about what's going on over there? Or should I just go to the Amish and go ahead and hang out with them and transfer them skills?
Yeah, as far as some of the skills are a combination of technical and agriculture. If you hear, like a lot of people here, there's a big energy here in Atlanta of organic farming. So that's one of the things that people are doing. They're learning or get aspects of organic farming, and doing certain things. But there are groups out there. I would never say that there aren't. A lot of times we don't market ourselves properly to where other people access us. Some of us who run certain incredible business enterprise don't even have a basic website, or if we do have a website, it's crappy and it's not laid out to really present what you're sharing. So a lot of times a lot of us that are doing wonderful things get get overshadowed by other things. But for those who are interested in connecting with people who are about certain things, folks have to reach out. That's like us. I'm never I'm not one of those popular people that I don't joke around and play around much. Every time you see me, it's just about business and works, and that scares people, because someone like myself work all day, and because of what it is. But trying to just let people know that you don't have to just be the most popular person, but we can all just make some level of contribution. And a lot of times, the more popular you get, the softer your movement get, because it begins to be a popularity contest, and not about the works.
Hey, let me ask you. Okay, so check this out. So you said you see very little homelessness there, right?
Absolutely.
So here I see a lot of crackheads. So is there like a crackhead equivalent walking around Ghana?
Maybe see 1 or 2, not like 1 or 2 million people, but here you might see 1 or 2, literally 1 or 2, if that. Just like you're gonna have like example, you're gonna have different orientation everywhere in the planet, but the reality of it is, it's more prevalent and sick here, and then the folks in parts of Africa that they understand that they have to stay in the closet, and it's not something that they can push their agenda, so there's a lot of things we have to also look at. As I believe in manhood, and I believe men nation building and running nations, and men having multiple wives, having a lot of children, and doing certain things on a certain level, and some women might not like some of the things I just said, but I just believe in that. I believe Ghana has all that aspect. The African continent itself has that aspect, and I just think it's time to get back to that.
The reason I was asking about that, because I saw something a while back where South American countries have sent over individuals, mostly the West Coast. I can't remember exactly where. This was a while back, and they were sending people over there to go ahead to acquire land, and they were going ahead growing the cocoa plant. They're processing the cocoa plant, making cocaine, and they did that because it was a better way to get it into Europe, and they're still supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, they do leave some of that there locally, absolutely. But yeah, that's exactly what it's mainly for. The African countries are being used as transport connection, because after the Caribbean, and this the southern part of the U.S. Got really tight with the Coast Guards and all of the politics of of robbery and things like that. It was just a different angle, and so that's where the banks start tripping about money laundering and us having to be residents to get bank accounts. So yeah, that's been ongoing the last few years. It just became really popular, but it's definitely something new. But even that, you still it does. It's just really one or two. I mean, when I mean like one or two, is like it's just it's incredible because even when you look at all of the bad aspects of life and the world, they have that there, but it's just so minor. Because
Yeah, I didn't think it was like running rampant like over here. Because even when I went there, I didn't see a lot of the homeless type stuff. I mean, every now and then you see. I didn't see a lot of people like begging in the street, but I did see a lot of people having a lot of stuff to sell out there.
absolutely, you got to make a living, my brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Always. And then I was one guy I would see every day. I see this guy, man. He always had something different. Always had something different.
Hey.
I don't like people talking real fast, and that brother was talking real fast. I don't like that. Man, I mean, I'm not gonna come over there and deal with something. I can't deal with that fast talking shit. That ain't cool with me.
Yeah, man. And when people are trying to sell things, it kind of builds with what I would say work ethics. It's like you don't have a lot, all right. So you're trying to flip something, and you're just trying to build a little something. I mean, you're not making much from it, but you're feeling like you rather that you go out and put some energy and do something. So that's what I really respect about people I see this out there hustling and doing their thing. So it's I just fell in love with the country over the period of time, and I was open, and and I don't think everywhere is the same, but I just feel like people like Ghana if they like tropical energy.
So, how was it to travel? How was the travel? How was the road to travel to get to these towns?
Yeah, my routes that I use are perfect. Don't run into much issue. I would leave from Accra, and then go directly 7 hours up into Techiman, the Brangapa region. Stop at 1 or 2 rest stops, and the roads are nice and smooth.
Is that like all flat land, or are you going like into mountains or hills?
It is you do get the aspects of where you're gonna be of mountains, but Ghana's not mountainous like that. But you do have the mountains that you're gonna be around. So you have different terrains. But the roads are paved. It's not like a super highway, but get you where you need to go. And leaving from Techiman, the Branghafa region, to Kumasi, the same thing. The only bad thing I would say is that some of the roads take you to the town, which I'm one of the people that believe in those highways. Like here in Atlanta, you have 285, and I hate driving. Like I can't remember last time I drove through Atlanta. But usually I'll drive on east or west outside of the city and get to where I need to get to. So that's one of the things it doesn't have.
Go straight through the town. You have to through the town there.
Unfortunately, and I was talking to my tour guide about that, and he explained what it was for, and I was like, I do understand that when things happen, people want to be by towns and things like that, and for people to help them. But I also told him that I believe in the express system to where you have exits and you get off into that town. But it's I'm just spoiled by some of the infrastructures here in the south. Ever since I moved to the south, I just love the flow of it, and I do IT service appointments at different locations. So I just hit the road, and I'm on this exit. I get on here, I get off here. I'm here, around the city, and I just it's part of one of the better experience in America. As I would say.
So are they, in the different towns, okay, like, because I always heard that, hey, like, the elders would go ahead and help you out of the town, go ahead and help you set up and stuff. How would that work, or is that factual?
No, the help is like the reason why the highways are linked to the town is like if people have issues with vehicles and things like that, or if they need to stop off and things, people are very friendly, and they the highest level of humanity. So people want to make sure people are safe and help people. So when things happen, people really band together to look out for each other. Um, it's so humane where I've literally seen a few arguments where I swear if it was anywhere else, Atlanta, New York, either someone that got knocked out or bullets have been flying. But they sit there and argue in debate. I was like, somebody gonna get knocked out. I was like, he's gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him soon. They still arguing. Uh, People just like friendly, and this, even the worst situation, if somebody's pissed off at you and insult you, they insult you in a nice way. It's like, what kind of culture is that? That's the kind of culture I want to be a part of. When you have humanity here, your baby mama get mad at you. She wanna blow your car up. She want to call all your girlfriends, tell them bad things about you. You know what I mean? The level of this hatred that we have when things go wrong or we don't agree with people, And it's like we've been spoiled, we've been told by the society that we live in. Everything is like hatred, violence, loudness. I do what I want to do. I can grow up to if I want to be, I'm a little, I can go from being a little boy to a little girl. I can do whatever I want to do. I can disrespect my parents. I can, it's like there's no boundaries or borders here, and it's like it scares me because you can raise your child with every single aspects of culture and values, like people like myself believe into the core, and then your child gets connected to some crazy stuff, and next thing you know, you start questioning yourself, and it's like, no, you don't question yourself. It's like, number one, you can't babysit your child ever, and it's just the aspects of all the wickedness they have, and that's why you want them to really be in a cultural environment where they see and appreciate certain things. So, I'm looking at all of those things.
Let me ask,
sure.
About commerce. Let me ask you commerce. What do you think that we can go ahead and work on right now? What we may be able to do, import, export, send things there to here, there, from here, there, back and forth. What do you see that we can go ahead and work on right now as far as, maybe, some materials, textiles, whatever?
Yeah, and that's always going to be like in Kumasi, where we got a lot of brothers, and they really want to expand their operation. So one of the things is they want to get a good quality partner where they can send things over, and so even coming on the tour, if somebody really had that mindset and they really want to do it, we have several brothers ready, and because they always talking with me, and I'm always telling them I'm gonna share it with our folks, but sometimes our folks is not there where but the people that we have, the best thing I always tell everybody is that you can trust them and we have your back. But people have to be open to want to do business, and it's something that we're trying to build in people energy and mindset. So, but it's definitely not something that's popular.
Trust is a hard thing to go ahead and build.
Yeah, so it's
this recent incident in Nigeria, in Malawi, right? And Mali. Do you think those things kind of go, because the U.S. glorifies that, so, do you think those kind of things, what kind of influence does that have on a lot of...
Yeah, I heard something about Niger, about some special forces being killed and Al-Qaeda being a link to it, but it's just something I saw on my computer screen that has popped up while I'm, working, but I don't know the full story of anything, but one thing about our folks, our folks just get caught up and mixed into many things, but we're not the violent, evil, wicked ones. So, I mean, just because something happened in Africa doesn't mean that I have anything to do with the Africans that were there. Because we have so much other forces of people there in the African continent. Like the northern part of Africa is just straight up Arab dominated. Like you go there and just talk about some repatriation and nation building. I wish you luck. They will kill you. Yeah. So that's why I always talk about. Not every aspect of Africa, is ready for you. Them Arabs got their Negroes under control. You go there and talk about some nation building stuff and trying to free folks and trying to take away their slaves, and you're gonna have a war on your ass. Like Egypt is, it's nice to see the pyramids, and Egypt is nice. I enjoyed it. I went in 2004, and that's maybe, it's not on my list to go back again. I mean, I'm not against it in any kind of way, but if I'm going to Africa, I want to go to, so that's why I like Ghana and Ethiopia, because I'm going to a part of Africa where I feel like I can live, do business, I can marry me an incredible African woman, and we can build our nation together. But beyond that, it's like, I want people to think about the level of options that they have, it's not really a whole lot, and unless other people are going to different parts of Africa and doing the legwork and putting time into to scope things out and building those networks. Because Ghana didn't get that way. Ghana got that way because of Kwame Nkrumah, and also got that way because of the pioneers that went there, 30 to 40 years ago, and really build that energy. So I'm always saying for folks, if you want to see more African countries, like people always ask me about going to different African countries. I was like, we only have a few countries to go to, but it is because it takes a lot of time, resources to just travel to all the different countries, do documentation, build relationships, trust people with your lives and your business and things like that. And sometimes
that's why I was asking you. That's why I was asking you. Like you have the tours twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wanted to go to Ghana, is there a network of individuals that we can go ahead and hook up with over there? We just have to wait for the tour.
It's ideal to come with me, but I mean, if I need to connect people, I can connect people. I have my full staff there. We have One Africa, that's a repatriation center. We have Brother David that's always there doing business. Is that when you do the tour, you have all of them on an organized schedule, every single last one of them, from Noonet at Benun Village, and so on our schedule. So you'll be able to connect with every single last one of them based on that schedule. You go there. It's hard to get to all them places and connect everybody, but I can definitely get people into where they can just, if they just want to do Accra and Cape Coast, Elmina. That's how I got to Ghana the first time, and it was 8 of us, and we just spent a week there. Yeah. So, but we do.
So how popular is McDonald's?
I've never seen a McDonald's in Ghana. If I do see one, I'm gonna blow that shit up. Cause then my son is gonna say I want McDonald's. I'm gonna be pissed off. Children, right? They program your children to say I want McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, from the commercials to the whatever shows that sometimes you watch that they might watch that may be an innocent show. It might be a show teaching them how to do English and Spanish or something, but it's like everything is like a weapon to these people, and they using it at the highest level to brainwash your children. Even when you are doing conscious stuff, they have, one of my, we was having a conversation and we was talking about how they just put all of these, how you have it to where you can genetically poison food to where you have a population of people. Say example, you have a population of people that's in the prison system and you're just trying to kill them off, get as much work out of them and kill them off. Or you're trying to, or the elders that's getting all the Social Security and retirement, you're giving them medicine to literally kill them. And I'm always telling people that you're not sick; it's the medicine that's making you sick, and the medicine is killing you. So that's why you have to go back to a holistic way of thinking and living. So it's it's like we have to realize that unless we start building and doing things for ourselves, we don't know the level of quality of things that we're putting in our body, and we are putting our children in front of, so I think we're at the point where, we're getting there where literally, we'll be in Africa, we speak an African language, and all the shows have all the cultural values. And when I tell people that, we have to get to the point where we lock ourselves off, it's kind of like in one of those movies where America is that evil, wicked place where all kind of wickedness go, and you're trying to escape it, and you're trying to get to like the promised land where you can align with your culture. That's what I feel like this is.
Wait, that ain't no damn movie.
That's real life here. But for some people, they don't believe that it's real for them. They think it's just they think all these things only happen in the movies. But I'm like,
that's some real life shit there, boy. No. That's what's really happening. And but the thing is getting the message out there, and I like what you do. So, I want to go ahead and see a little bit more put toward that. But I do lean a little bit toward individuals who go ahead and say we can do stuff here, but it's like you got to do stuff here with a purpose.
Yeah, perfect. We can talk about that. We can talk about that because that's one of the things I'm always hearing. And if you live in a community, absolutely, you have to do the best you can do to make your community a community and put the work in. I'm just saying to people that don't put your 100% of your life energy into making your life better in America forever. Realize that you can go above and beyond, and you can do the best you can do, and you're still a modern day slave. You can have the highest job in the government and just still be an economic save for America, because at the end of the day, all that money you're making, you turn around, you buy a home, a car, and buy all the aspects of things that white folks literally own and will never stop owning, because they were the first here to dominate this part of the world, and they literally put down a foundation to where they own everything, and anything else that other people are getting are like crumbs, and it's like, and it's like, I don't know any other way to even explain it beyond this. You're here, you're working, you're giving your resources back 24/7. The power company got you, the water company got you, the internet company got you, all these people got you, and instead of us paying these bills in a communal sense, which would literally be better, because now you can reduce the cost and reinvest and do certain things but most of us are caught into this individual way of life, to where you have maybe one or two people living at home and you spend all these resources every day. So we do have to get to the point where we're gonna have to sacrifice that and be able to live together and share space and share things, because there's only so many kitchens and so many TVs we need to have.
Over there already have an established internet service over there.
Yeah, internet is gonna be. Internet is.
You go ahead and go about establishing your own. What are you doing?
Internet is through Glow. I really want to deal with Glow once they get it more into satellite. The property we have it by the 2-year time frame. Glow would have their satellite service, and Glow is a straight black power Nigerian company that everybody hating on. They do all aspects of telecommunication, internet, cell phones, and cable.
What's the name of it?
Glow Nigeria.
I have to get with my cousin about that.
And then your water, and the thing about Ghana, these things are in the country and you can get them. They might not be the fastest, but I'm also telling people that when you buy your own satellite and you begin to build it to where you are, you can invest in the highest level of satellite technology, and you can control your infrastructure as far as internet and then your power. So those things you can get done, and that's where the quality of life comes in, to where because one of the things you're being controlled by these companies. Everybody named Mama want to get you on a monthly basis to this. Even to the point where internet companies, technology companies like Microsoft or the Adobe company, they want you to pay $9 or $10 until the day you die for their software every month.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, so the goal is just to break loose from this thing completely and just do whatever we can do independently, and we'll see how we'll be able to survive. But it's like we have to be able to willingly make the sacrifice and the move. So only way I can explain to people is like you have to just work on the process of letting go. We always talking about that, that situation in love and relationship where the hardest thing is just to let go that, this person don't want you no more and she wants someone else, and those days are gone. You have to move on.
Yeah, move on. Hey, didn't Ghana, did they send off their own satellite? Don't they have their own satellite?
Exactly, and so they're moving a level of independence where you would go directly to the Ghana company and you purchase certain resources for internet, and then you split the cost with your whole community, where it'll be little to no money when you split the cost. Because now, and then you're getting...
Okay, roughly in US dollars, how much would that be, really? I mean, for one house.
For what you need, probably about $500 a month.
Wow, that's more than what I'm paying.
And the $500 a month is like if you have a real big community. But the base of what we need, I looked at it.
I was talking about an individual household.
Oh no, that's not individual. Also, what you're doing is you're paying for a bulk service of technology, and you're sharing it with your community. Community may be 20, 30 people. Like the community is called Benue Village.
Sound better.
Where the sister Nunet has 10 acres, and she's still selling a quarter of an acre for $500. And the Africa for the Africans Repatriation community is right there. That's 2 1/4, but that's like more of a headquarters, and it has certain space. But all of us will be sharing our resources, and including the system of, they use a borehole system. I like the catch water system, but everything I believe in building, you want to pump, filter, treat water, and because you have to look at making sure that you're not, you're drinking water to where it's gonna give you well, make you well. So you have to just incorporate those things in the system. But the electricity is what works out better, is because you have access. You can have access of wind power, also solar power, and also if you just really need to connect to the grid, you can use a source of grid power. That way you have full, you have full backup system. But a community grid provides like a whole community. It could be several hundred people to several thousand people of power source. So you begin to have like your own independence. So your goal is like you're building a level of independence. It's like if I do anything in America, I'm dependent on all these evil, wicked people to take care of me. The power company, the water company, internet company, this company, that company, and it's like, and you're just tied to them, and it's like, and some of us, that's all we know. We just know that in order for me to get water, I need to pay the white man's company to provide me a water service. And it's like after a while, you have to really it troubles you. And you have to really look at yourself in the mirror and say, my ancestors struggled and died for this country, and is this going to be my position for life? Just accepting what my oppressors are giving me, accept that I'm going to be the glove for Mother City.
Slow down. A lot of individuals have already accepted that move. They felt that they moved past that question, and they just go ahead and deal with what's going on, saying, hey, look, this is where it's always been. That line there goes back to a few generations. So I think that's one of the reasons we have inactivity on the acceptance of a whole lot of shit that's around us, because it's pushed on to the kids. I was talking to a young female, a high school female, about a week ago, and I was asking her, I said, what do you think, a lot of people in your age bracket need? She told me, she said, it's not us. You need to deal with a lot of our parents and our grandparents. Now, this girl is in high school, in their 11th grade. Now, and that's where I think a lot of the focus, some energy needs to be going toward them, but, if you got like these young people that's talking like that, a lot more energy needs to be put into them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I believe you have to just lead by example. A lot of times we don't see examples, and so I'm a person that I don't do much talking. I just try to work just throughout the day and do things that would just show action than just talk, and then. But a lot of times, children just really need to be around the practicality of things, and where I grew up in Brooklyn, it's a hard situation to say that you grew up around positive men. I just can't remember just even thinking about much of the men that I grew up around when I was younger. Most of them was just the usual gangsters and drug dealers and guys that was just players, but. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't until I moved to the South where I just started meeting and learning about certain things. But, we just have to be the example for our children coming up, because a lot of times our parents did what they had to do to survive, and maybe they didn't focus on as much as the nation building aspect of what we needed to learn about how to run business, how to raise family, how to do certain things. The good thing about it is not all loss, is just we just have to keep, working the strategies.
Yeah, I just think you have got to keep pushing forward, because a lot of our people they didn't go ahead and stop. If they did, a lot of us wouldn't be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So not all of us can do everything. So all of us have to just play our part, and the small set of things that we're doing dealing with repatriation, that's just our contribution to civilization. And I'm not one of the people that can talk about. I would never say, if I ever talk about people staying here, I would say that if you're gonna stay here, just keep building communities and building ownership.
I want you to go ahead and tell me that, because I got to hit a pushback. I got to know how to defend myself against that nonsense.
All right, go ahead. No, I was just saying that if folks are gonna use the angle that we built this, or that they want to stay here, and that they see that better days are to come, and they can say all the stuff. After the darkest night come the brighter day, and all kind of foolishness. But the reality of it is, we've had darker and darker and darker and darker days as the days go by. And it's been a while since we've seen some light. So if you are going to be here, make sure that you own the land on the business that you're running. Make sure you build a level of ownership, and make sure you create opportunities for your own brothers and sisters, and make sure you control how things run in your community, and make sure you don't have people exploiting your brothers and sisters. Yeah, exactly, all these things. So if people are going to talk that talk, they need to step up and hold what they're saying. Now, like people like myself, I'm going to push repatriation. I've sacrificed a lot of my life to make sure that we just keep documentation and going, and keep networking and building connection, and also keep working with our own people, and keep doing level of investments where once we learn how to do certain things, we're literally sharing it. Like I've been trying to share as best as I can, and how the aspects of land go, and investments, and then David and the rest of the crew, they share so many things about living and doing business in Africa. But it's like all of us can do something, and and all of us can find people that we can work with. Like out of all the people I've ever been around in my life, I didn't know that I would end up and deal with all this consciousness, and be able to just say that I've given up on dealing with all of the stupidity of people, and I'm not like condemning people that that are in my family and people that are close friends. It's just me saying that enough is enough. It's like, how many times, like sometimes I have people call me and they say, did he hear that? Did he hear what happened? And I was like, what? And like, this person got shot down, this happened. And it's like, after a while, it's just like, it's just drive you, it's like, all right, it's so much, it's like, I can't just keep on going on and just hearing this every day and not just try to do something to make a difference.
Wait. That's what I was saying. You get numb to it. You hear it a lot, and you just get like, okay. And then until it strikes real close to somebody that then you get like, oh, shit. But when you hear it a lot, man, you get numb to it. Hey, I got another line open.
Go ahead.
Whose line is open?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me talking?
I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank this brother. I mean, I was listening to you nonstop for the last 30 minutes, and you're really well informed. Thank you for mentioning the part about Obama, because if somebody didn't say that out loud, I was just sitting here screaming.
I never said anything about Obama. That's funny.
No, but I heard what you said. I mean, I was
talking about number 43, 44, and 45.
When you were talking about the way people pay these utilities, that is, it's like being programmed. You go to work, you get your money, and then you go give $9 to Comcast, you give $9 to this company, you give a ComEd, and so what do you think is the way to try to break that cycle? And what can I wrote down your website, but I think a lot of people need to hear what you had to say.
Well, thank you, brother.
I'm really glad I heard what you had to say.
As far as the only solution I have, like I just acquired a 2.25 acre property for our business enterprise and our family, and the repatriation movement. And the goal in that is to where we're going to catch our own water and build a borehole system, and just use that example. But my thing is, if you're frustrated with the system, do like the good white folks do in America. They just say, hell with the system. I'm gonna go in the middle of nowhere, and I'm gonna get 500 of my homies, and we're gonna get 5,000 acres of land, and we're gonna build our community, and we're gonna do what we want to do, and we're gonna live sustainable.
They've been doing that the whole time.
Exactly. So and they decide that as much as they don't agree with the system, they don't want to leave America, so they decide to build out. So that's what our people can do. Our people can formulate communities in areas where they can use large sums of land and be completely sustainable and have all the things you need to have without having to pay heavy costs of utilities and things like that. And in probably areas that are not zoned. But if you're like me and you're like, no matter how, and Jonathan, I remember what you and I was talking about. I was like, no matter how much sovereignty you can give me or how much secure land you can give me in the middle of nowhere, I'm still in America and I'm still around these evil, wicked energy of people, and I'm still in the same system.
Right.
And if I need to get on a plane and go somewhere, I might just be in a situation where these idiots are ready to blow the plane up and do all the wicked things that, you know, none of us know what they could do at any moment, because a lot of the things that we've seen them do, some of us have been surprised, but it's like you can't be surprised what evil, wicked set of people are going to do. People who perpetrated from stealing hundreds of millions of African people, estimated 250 million of African people were stolen from the continent by white slave traders, and all the energy what they propagated. So if they can go propagate that, which I don't think anybody else could have pulled off what they pulled off, then we can justify anything against them. Whenever whenever a white devil is willing to kill, mass shoot a bunch of his own people, you know, you gotta be willing to just look at what, you know, it's like if they are willing to do all these things for their own people, for their survival, then they will do anything to you to get rid of you. So it's like we can't even put ourselves in those situations anymore. But yeah, Jonathan, you remember us talking about that earlier?
Peace, family. Peace, Black African Power, and everybody on the show and listening to the call. Yeah, I was having a conversation with Bomani earlier about that, and I kind of wanted to. That's where I kind of wanted to scale back the conversation to even bring it back to the point where, to me, it's not just about the current events that we see that's going on. That's encouraging me to repatriate or nation build. It's really the whole spiritual thing and going back to our ancestors. Like, I feel that we owe it to our ancestors to go back and rebuild up our homeland, and that, this place was never, they pretty much, exploited it for the slave labor and, took over all the indigenous lands. And my thing is, it's not like we're retreating or anything. To kind of go back to what you guys were talking about, it's not a retreat, but it's more of a place where we could go to, get our peace of mind back and build up our base of Black African power, so that, we want to go and reclaim land, other places, that we'll be in that position to do so. That's my thing.
Excellent, Jonathan. The things that we're talking about was it's just, now remember, one of the things we were saying was that it's not like a popular option and popular, and anytime you're trying to think outside the box or you're trying to build a fresh nation, you have to just look at it in the aspects of the Mormons in Salt Lake City, Utah, dealing with their persecution. They struggled and went to where they moved, and then all kind of other stories you can, but anything is that we just need to build our own and do, and to be free, is not without certain sacrifice. And the things that we have to sacrifice, it's not like what other people have to sacrifice to gain the freedom that they need. All we have to do is just break ourselves away from the system, wake up and say that I am gonna cut back and buying all these white people clothes and spending money in all the malls and buying this and that from them. I mean, literally, there's certain things that any of us can do right at this very moment. Like all the money that you get to white folks, just try to spend little to, unless you need to spend some money with some white folks, don't spend no money with them. Like, I need to go to Ghana, I need to pay Delta and KLM to fly me out, and I'm realizing I'm getting more options, but that's my option for now, and I have to spend that money with them. But I realize I'm right near Bomb Mall, and all these white folks at all these stores there, but I'm not going in there to buy anything. If I am, I'm not buying a $5,000 pair of shoes and all the ridiculous money we spend for something that you put on your feet and something that you cover your body up like a shirt or pants. I mean, that is just ridiculous. It made no sense. People like myself that are business investments, our money is always into investment. So that's the only thing I personally know for the last 10 or so years. But it's like, we have to work to get our people outside of that habit and work to this where they get away from that and then start just using that money and say, even if they're not into going to Africa, there's things that you can do for the better yourself here. Yeah?
Right. So going back with the Africa for the African tours and really the whole repatriation village. I got two questions. I guess off rip. One, first and foremost, do you see what do you see is the possibility of having a Pan-African nation state? And two, how many people are already willing or already a part of the repatriation village that you have there in Ghana and Peshawar?
Yes, brother, absolutely. And just let me meet you for a quick 10 seconds, and I'll answer all your questions as I pull up some details.
I think it's important that we do a collaborative strategy that implodes on ourselves to be self-sufficient, not just in America, globally. We need to look at a global strategy to become self-sufficient. And what levels the playing field is this technology. Technology will level the playing field if we use it. More African Americans, and even in Africa is building, they're using the cell phones for everything except to empower themselves. And that's the thing that we have to look at too. We have to keep, one thing you brought out about the system that we're in, it's very critical to understand. Most times people don't talk about it, but let's deal with the reality, even based on the Europeans' data. When they came into the Americas, a lot of us were already here, first of all, let's get that clear. We were already here. But their calculation, it was 120 million indigenous peoples in the Americas when the Europeans came here. Within 100 years, they, by design, reduced that population from 120 million to less than 12 million.
I'm telling them devils will kill you.
That's the nature of the beast.
Or should they will kill you off.
Think about it. You got think about it. You got $120 million, and all of a sudden, after a while, within 100 days, you got less than 12. That's what they did to human lives, completely destroyed. Now, what we have, as the brother brought out the data, 225 million of us our ancestors were brought here. Now, they have used us, used our bloodline. Now, their whole objective now is to exterminate us in the Americas through conditioning to cause us to self-destruct. They're destroying us with the air, the water, the food, the medicine, and the music. So, we have been socially engineered to self-destruct. So it's imperative upon you young people as well as my baby boomer generation, it's imperative that we collaborate a global strategy that ensures not just our well-being, but as I learned from the Native Americans, we have to look 7 generations back to get guidance from our ancestors, and then look 7 generations ahead in making decisions to ensure that those that will come after us being on this planet will have a healthy, prosperous opportunity to thrive and do what they're here to do. Does that make any sense what I'm saying to you guys?
Brother, I appreciate your energy. This is Bomani, and you're right on point, and I'm with you. I'm happy that you tune in, and we're since this is our energy and era, we're looking to just connect with each other and to realize that we must just make some moves. But I'm one of the ones that's always saying that I can't deal with this being here and this it's like I've got to break away. And I realized that there's a decision at one point where it was like where Marcus Garvey was talking about repatriation and nation building in Africa, and then others was talking about straight up aligning with the system and looking forward to better days. So that's just and then like you mentioned that the energy of nation building was going on at a certain time. We're just looking to revamp and revitalize things and take it to a different level.
Excellent. I'm so grateful that your energy is doing that, because I'm 61, man, and man, I know I got more behind me than I do in front of me, and my whole objective is not for myself, because I've been fortunate. I've been very fortunate, very, very blessed and highly favored. However, I'm not looking at me or you. I'm looking at those that haven't even been born yet. That's where we've got to have our mindset. So we have to control the resources of the planet. Oftentimes, people don't tell us. But you hit it on the head when you talk about just spending your money and investing. Because the whole purpose of money is to make more money so that it will exceed your lifestyle, so that you can freely give yourself away to others. So our dollars and cents need to be circulated in such a way that builds economic power, that
We're not, like you said, building the grid. So that we can take what we have here and invest it with our brothers and sisters in Ghana and other places to empower them as well as ourselves and those to come. So I love what you're doing. Man, please keep doing it. No matter what, it's going to be some days you're going to be tired and you're going to be exhausted as you get older, but still know that it's what you're doing is powerful and it's worth every breath that you have.
We appreciate you, brother. I'm trying to build with more and more people who understand that there's no turning back, and that's once you're in, it's a commitment for life, and they're not trying to scare people, but it's like we can't keep straddling the fence, and I've met people that say 1 minute they're this, 1 minute they're that. I was like, how many things are you going to keep on the switching? And I was like, are you going to make a lifetime commitment? So that's what we're looking for, to connect with people. People want to make a lifetime commitment for us to work together to make Africa the greatest nation on this planet, and I just believe that we can do it. But you just got to be willing to understand that this is a war, and the sacrifices got to be made. And then some of our friends and families are going to be the casualties that we just have to accept, and don't let it hold us back.
You're absolutely right, man. If we don't realize we're in war, we already lost. That's right.
Yeah, it's been a war since they stole the first African and brought them to these shores. It's been on since then.
Right. It was been a war before then, young
man.
Yeah,
exactly, my brother.
It taught the Europe,
I appreciate the correction.
how to do it.
I appreciate the correction, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely. And we can just go further with things. It's like these people are basically, we're telling you, family, that these people have been our lifetime enemies. They've never been good set of people to us. At no point was there ever anyone just listen, or was there ever any good point where white folks was nice to black people historically?
No.
Or
never,
to anybody
in the history of this planet.
to anybody other than themselves.
I mean, look at his track record.
So why should they change? Go ahead. Oh no, go ahead. I was just saying.
What you thinking? Well, think about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, why would someone change that's never been nice to anybody on the planet, even mean and evil and wicked to their own people, where they kill their mama for just to run things?
That's right. That's a fact, big brother. I'm glad you brought that out. And that's not going to change. I mean, what would we do in a civilized society if someone was a murderer, a liar, a thief, and a kidnapper, and a rapist? What would you do to that person in a civilized society? You would literally cut his head off. So if you're looking at the European, he is the epitome of that.
Absolutely. Right. That's a good way to put it. That's, I mean, do you want to live the rest of your life around murderers and thieves and rapists and psychotic people and crooks?
Right.
And that's why I ask people who talk about we built this and all the other stuff. Yeah, when they have wonderful countries in Africa where our people are welcoming us.
Yeah, in mind, man.
Yeah.
In mind. That brings me to another point, Bomani. Like, while we're on that topic, what do you think about, in the future, how can we build Black African power within the continent with all these incursions that are seemingly increasing at the rapid rate?
One thing I love about countries like Ghana, like Sass was there. She was there for 2 months, and she was telling me about all the Black Power conference and all the wonderful things that people are doing at the grassroots level, using doing the best they can do. So one of the things that we can always do, and it seems like it's not popular, is once we're connected to African countries, we have wonderful organizations there that we can connect. And that's one of the things that, unfortunately, we don't do here. It seems like our brothers and sisters that come from the continent, which I do understand their situation, because my family came from Jamaica. When you come from a so-called third world or poor country, you're coming here for economic reasons, to get work and get money to take care of your family back home and everything. We all have to do what we have to do for survival. But at the same time, too, it's like we have to build that point to where, regardless of whatever we're doing for work or job, we come together and say, hey, we cannot live like this. We're basically these people, source of economic slaves and source of consuming, because anything that they have whether it's clothes or ridiculous stuff. They have things all in the places that we live. To insurance company and so on, which is another crooked ass company. They're just to take the resources and build up their community and keep things going. And it just gives me an aspect of the same thing that they do, we can do for ourselves. We don't need them to manage it. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, we don't need no managers. We should, we want to manage our own affairs. Right. And that's what I love about being in African countries. They run in their, they're not saying that things are perfect with them, but they're doing the best they can do based on resources. But if more of us were aligning with the different groups there, it would definitely help over a period of time. Mm-hmm. And so I see some of our folks there that have repatriated are doing that. And those are the things that I'm talking about on a small scale, based on my experience, that I see going on. And things can go a lot faster and more progressive, but then at the same time, too, we have to look at ourselves and say, what am I contributing to making that go faster and making more moves? So,
right. May I make a statement?
Sure.
As a solution?
Sure, go ahead.
Listen, the Africans and the Americas, especially those in North America, if we had a simple strategy of circulating 30 cents on a dollar among ourselves, we could end slavery for ourselves globally. What do I mean by that? Chicago, for instance, I always use this as an example, Chef Rob knows, that Chicagoland blacks represent a $50 billion cash cow, not 50 million, 50 billion. And if we were to circulate just 30 cents on a dollar, because less than 2 is doing that, it's being kept in the community, but 30 cents on a dollar, to do the math, that's a 3 times 5, that's a $15 billion impact just in the first year among ourselves. Do you see that what that would do for the community? Not only here in Chicago, but then you can start springboard into other markets, then to the African continent. And that's just the first year. Just the strategy of circulating 30 cents. Do what you want with the other 70, and you'll learn to do more. But 30 cents on a dollar will be a game changer instantly. So that's my little 2 cents part of a strategy to change the game. And we're going to start advertising that on the radio. And we just need to put that in our psyche, because what we're getting now is absolutely nothing. 30 cents on a dollar, make an individual commitment as well as a collective commitment in your circle of influence will make a revolutionary change overnight.
Excellent, brother. Excellent. And when we think of coming together, economics is the base. It has to be the base. So excellent move.
Right. I was going to say that's another thing that I saw. I'm here in Tallahassee, Florida. We have a historically black college here, and one of the things that I've noticed over the years is I've seen how we have a joint engineering program, with Florida State, and what ends up happening, I see a lot of times, is that a lot of the people from other nations, such as Arab countries and Far East Asian countries, and the Indians are coming here and they're getting the degrees, engineering degrees, and and whatnot, and just kind of just moving up into this so-called society, and parlaying into a certain sector of society, and here African Americans are still here, just dwelling at the bottom for the most part. So do you see in Ghana, for instance, pretty well-to-do engineering schools and things of that nature?
I can't say that they're terrible or bad schools, but they do have the aspects of certain business school. America and Europe were built to have so-called the best schools for technical and this or some level of advancement, and you see most of your African president have degrees from either America or Europe. But I believe that any engineering program that's in the African continent can be enhanced. We have tons of engineers here that don't have a job or don't have a career, and they're being underused in their fields.
That's so fact.
They got an engineering degree and they got them stapling paper at the office desk. Foolishness like that, and that's so. it's like if we want to get the highest level of experience from our craft, we have to be willing to build a nation. Build a nation means you get to the ground, you clear the land, you build the homes, you build the infrastructure that you need, and so on and so on. You know, just to be clear with people.
Right.
So some people don't understand what that means because maybe they live in a city and everything that they ever needed and will ever need is in the city, and they literally can live in the city until the day they die. I've had friends of mine that grew up in Brooklyn that told me that New York have everything. Why would I want to go anywhere else?
Right. Yeah, we know people like that. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, with that, like, what's the kind of like the feel there, like in Techiman, like I said, you know, what's the reception from the local people and the local government as the you know, Africans from the diaspora coming there and having a repatriation village and
people are excited because
is it kind of possible.
The reason why people are excited because if you're somebody coming from the African diaspora, you're not going to Techiman and Branghafa region. You're going to Accra,
Right,
you're going to Cape Coast, Elmina, you're going to all these other places, and you're so
Right.
So they respect the fact that we're looking at a deeper vision and we're looking to be a part of the family, the community. Looking to. And when I talk about marrying to the culture, I'm like dead serious to folks. Especially for the folks who are single.
Yeah.
If you're single, and you haven't signed your life away here, if you did, you just have to do what you have to do. Think about the opportunity of just marrying into an African family, where some of us don't have families, and some of us, the families that we have, we want to get rid of them, or we don't want to really deal with them because we don't feel like they're a family. But a lot of people I know, they go and then it's like an adopted family, and they're really aligned,
Right.
and they marry into the family, and it's like a beautiful thing. It's like, so you have that love, that support, and it's a very chance you're gonna be divorced, and you're gonna have hatred towards each other. So it's one of those things that's our culture. Like, I don't hear about African people talking about divorcing.
Nobody's gonna get me in trouble.
Oh, I'm not. I would. You gotta. That's funny. I mean, if I could do it all over again, brother.
Really in trouble, man.
If I could do it all over again and go back in time, I wouldn't think of nothing else than marrying to an African family in Ghana.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we see this. The local people definitely showing us.
And then that's gonna give you all your love and
remember
support for success in the country, also. So you tie that together with other things, and
Right.
you're good.
Right. You mentioned earlier how there was no in Techiman there was no zoning there or anything like that. Well, is there like a big municipal government on top of the local people, or is it like what's it like in the
Yeah, exactly. It's a small government. The thing about me is like I live in all these big cities, and I cannot stand the bureaucracy and the stupidity that goes on. And it's like I want to be somewhere where my voice, my opinion, what I'm contributing and doing counts. Here, the people who care less about people like myself. You're just another consumer. That's all you are. I just don't want to live my life like that all my life. And I'm reaching out to my brothers and saying that I saw something, I feel something, I feel like this will work. That you do not have to live like that all your life, but you got to make some sacrifices. First of all, Techiman and Branghafa region is 7 hours into the middle of the country, so it's not a walk down a block. But just like those military bases they build in the middle of nowhere, it gives you a great chance to put everything that you need on there and be self-sufficient, and not just having to participate with what everybody else is doing.
Right. So yeah, man. I mean, I guess I had a million questions. I've been listening for like almost 2 hours now, if not more. I guess for the Africans, the diaspora Africans that's never been to the continent, what's your automatic? I got two questions. What's your automatic first feeling when you step on the continent? And two, what are some of the other spiritual connections that you get other than the Elmina Castle?
Yeah, absolutely. And if especially for the folks, if they're not talking, they can easily just mute their microphone and then unmute it when they're ready to talk by just pressing the mute button on their phone. And I don't know the exact. Yeah, but somebody's making a lot of paper noise. Let me answer your question. As far as my welcome to Ghana, the reason why when I first got to Ghana in December 2006, the welcome was just incredible. You know, I was welcomed by a group of brothers and sisters from the African diaspora, and that was also there local to there in Ghana, and I was able to spend time after the tour. Yeah, and I also connected with One Africa, so from the get go, the connection was beautiful. Remind me of Jamaica, and then you're dealing with a more vibrant African culture where the level of humanity is there. Like one thing people may say Jamaica is a violent country based on certain things that goes on, but when you look at Ghana, you can't say that about Ghana. You can talk about that Ghana did have, there's civil unrest or whatever people want to call it during Jerry Rawlings' time and during Nkrumah time, which are two of my favorite governments because they saw the vision of the African diaspora. But as far as other things in the country, if you can repeat the last question that you had.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've seen, all your videos pretty much. I watch all of them, and looking at the ones from the Elmina Castle is definitely, something else.
Right.
But I was wondering, what are some other spiritual connections that you automatically get when you go there, or some of the other experiences that you've gotten on a spiritual note?
Yeah, you have people go into trance, and you're just really gonna feel like a certain level of burden, and you're gonna feel tired and worn out, and it's gonna dawn on you, and it's a hard thing to walk through, because it's not we don't make it the easiest thing for you to do. I mean, I do feel like you have to feel some kind of tension, and we just try to just get the guides to just explain the presentation as detailed and graphic as possible, and take them to all the chambers, all the places where ancestors were, and explain how our women were used and abused and just passed around, and it goes into so many things. But that's one of the things I take very serious. I've recorded like almost every single lecture that I've done in those dungeons, and I have them all on
Right.
YouTube. I think I have more of those videos than anything else, but because I want people to take our Holocaust serious. You see how you see like the Jewish folks that take their Holocaust to where even when I was in high school, they was trying to beat that in my head. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, and it's it's a situation that went down, and it went down to where once the people have a full grasp of that system, they should learn from there on. You can never trust your enemy. And
Right.
that's
Right.
what we are bought into in this day, that multiculturalism, we're one people, one nation, and we're equal people, and we have the right to access other things, and if things are unfair, we can take it up in the court of law and have the white man
Right.
judge and his white
Right.
jury think about if they want to appeal something. I mean, this is just nonsense. It's like but
Right.
I do understand people are brainwashed, so but we just need to get a few more people that are that see certain things and keep it going. But I never believe that a lot of people get this, and I believe I'm one of the people that just believe to just do things outside the box. Just like I run a technology and business operation throughout the day, and I'm not gonna go take a job for any white person. It's no offense to anybody who works somewhere. It's just the fact that in order for me to be fully committed and fully available on a 24/7 basis, to dedicate myself, which I need to just break away little by little. Just like I realized after a while, I gotta so it's like you go through that process where you gotta consistently give up these things. I mean, this country make it, especially if you have a real good job, this country make life to where you can just like look over all the other shit that they do to other people and say, those niggas are just lazy. I got it good. I got a boat. I got a
Right.
big house. I used to live in the projects. Now that I came up, I got all these fine sisters coming and partying for me. And you can just easy because I've been around people that I do work for, and I just sometimes I don't I'm just undercover. I don't say nothing. I just be listening. And I was like,
I know. No, you don't even be preaching to the choir, man. Like, Bomani, man, like my mind is like spot on with you, man. Like I'm trying to, figure out how I'm gonna break out of this system and do the same type of thing, man. But I am right there in step with you and everything you're saying. And I would say, to those people that think like what you just mentioned, I mean, that's why it's important to kind of to go and see those the Amina Castle to kind of have that greater understanding of the Mafia and what really happened, and like I said earlier, it's not just the current events, it's everything, and as other brothers said earlier, it's been for a few thousand years, not just the 500. So
Right.
it's really interesting. But yeah, I mean, moving back to the whole business side of things, what are the what would you say are some of the top imports into Ghana, and what are the people really lacking, or well, not lacking, but what would be a big need there?
And I think all of us in the world are caught into technology to where you want those things. You want the TVs, the laptops, you want the cell phones, you want the gadgets, and things like that. So that's one of the more popular, the PlayStations and things like that. All camera systems. Beyond that,
iPhone 5
it's
or 7.
exactly, so
21.
across the board. Beyond that, it's just it's just the so-called fancy clothes that people see in maybe hip-hop videos or movies.
Okay, here's a better one then.
Sure.
Okay, how can we manufacture them over there, but we go ahead and you build it over there and we figure out a way to bring it back here? What would be the way we would figure it out and get it back here? Because we
Alright,
can go ahead and
perfect.
do some things here, but we
Yeah, perfect.
we create our own phones or whatever.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Would
and
that
so
be
what?
a way to go ahead and support the villages over there already?
Yeah, absolutely. What you do is you acquire the land, and then on the land you just build a manufacturing plant, and then you build it, and then you put the machines in that you need to make the whatever equipment, and then you can
You
share
say
it.
it like it's so simple. So
I can
gotta go ahead and pay the building inspectors and none of that stuff.
Let me. I can just explain it in a longer sense than that. But that's the first stage of what you literally have to do. You have to get land that you need, and then you have to have people who.
Okay, well then stop right there. So
Good.
I want to get more specific about the land purchase.
All right.
Okay, so buying a house here, buying land over here, again, that process, all the paperwork, documentation, lawyers, this person, clerk, title company, all that. So how much of that would I have to go through over there?
That's right.
I mean, you have to go through the whole process. You don't have to directly be there. Like I have a representation of our business, Sister Nunez from the Benue village in the Brown Hafa region. So once I went
And
there,
I think what I'm really getting at is,
Sure.
is how trustworthy is that? Because that's something that we haven't
How
encountered,
trustworthy?
So we want to know a little bit. I want to know how much can I go ahead? Because if they screw up on the process over here, I can.
well, let me, yeah,
So
and
if they screw up on the process
I
over
mean-
there, who would I go ahead and talk to?
I mean, you can have a lawyer, legal representation if you need, but I'm just explaining to you how we do business. Going there back and forth, I've just built an entire crew of people we deal with. So from consultants to lawyers. So literally, you say if you wanted to get anything done, you'd literally go to someone like myself, and I'll take full responsibility for everything. But it's say if you wanted to go to court or so, I mean, just like here, you can go to court and you can take your case. But the best thing to do is avoid dealing with stupid people and dealing with people that you don't have any connection with. So the people that I've dealt with is the same people we've been dealing with, and we all are in the same boat, that we look out for each other and we're believing in the repatriation movement. So when people reach out to us and want to come to Africa and want to get land, either Imacus got them based on if they're trying to get land in that area. Brother David, my tour guide Kwabin, and my sister Nuna. In this case, I was looking for land in the Brown Hafa region by her. So she took care of everything and took care of the transaction and took care of things that we needed to take care of. And that's the person we hire, someone that's close to us, that we do business with, that we see all the time, that we have on our schedule and our route.
It brings me back to the court thing. Okay,
Sure,
so
go ahead.
how successful would I be in court, or how would they? Is it a high rate of ruling for the plaintiff?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to consult with our lawyer. I can't even answer those legal questions. But what I was saying to you that I do personally, since I've been in the country, I like to deal with everything I do is based on relationship. Like I don't talk to people. I deal with people because I don't have time for foolishness. I just try to deal with because I have work to do. So only people I communicate with is people I build relationship, and only way I would communicate with someone is just based on that introduction, that connection. So if I need certain things, everything is based on relationships. So that's how I survived there in the country, using street smarts and dealing with relationships, and
Gotcha.
only dealing with people that has much to lose as I am. And you know, you can't ever guarantee anything in life as far as when it comes to
That
money.
sound like hustling, man.
Well,
What you talking
well,
about?
when it comes to money, but what I can tell you is that the business that we have, you think about it, we have tours that are 30, 40 people. You think about the money has to go somewhere, and the money has to go through people,
Right.
and we have to trust things, and
Right.
you know. So after you do that so many times, you know, not saying that somebody can't do certain things, but that's the best chance you have is based on that relationship. And we just really look out for
Right.
each other. So I'd rather have 20 good brothers and sisters than have a mass movement of 4,000 Negroes that are confused and don't know what the hell is going on. You know? And so that's why I'm
That's
able
right.
to get things done in Ghana. And then the connection I'm building in Ethiopia, the same thing. We're recruiting and building people. So
Right.
that's the way I handle things in that country. Other people have
Right.
historically done different things. Like people tell you about their horror stories of all the people that have messed them over and all the things that have happened to them. But when it comes back to the reality of it, I'm not trying to just say bad things about these people, but the level of stupidity they did and the lack of street smarts and things like that. Even people who have ignored my consultant's advice and done certain things, and then they get jammed up, and then they go back and cry to them. You know, so you know, it's one of those things where I tell people follow the expert, follow people who are about certain things and know what they're doing, and make sure they have track record. If they don't, just don't deal with them.
That's right.
Yeah, I was
Right.
like I was trying to come on over and visit and just lay low to the visit. That's what I was trying to kind of get to. Brother Bianchi, your line is open.
What's going on, Rob?
What's going on, brother?
How's everything?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Oh,
Oh, that's
hold on. Can I ask one quick question before we get on the next
Go
one?
ahead,
Just
brother,
one
go
quick
ahead.
question. Yeah, just I've done my homework a little bit, Bomani, about Ghana and the citizenship process or whatever. Can you explain to I guess the rest of the listeners like just a easy breakdown of what one needs to do to actually get citizenship there?
Exactly. The first thing you need to do is you need to get you a Ghana visa, which is good for you can get a multi-entry Ghana visa, which is $100 and it's good for 1 to 5 years. Once you have that Ghana visa, you can
Okay.
start your travel into Ghana, and then start building your energy of living in the country little by little. And then
Okay.
once you're there for about 30 days or so, you can start applying for a resident. The immigration know that you like to live in the country, so they can give you special paperwork to live in the country as a resident. So
Okay.
that's your main basic connection to fix your living situation, is to make sure you register with immigration there in Ghana. And then once you build that and you have your resident, you have to live in the country literally anywhere from 7 to 10 years and have certain required paperwork based on showing that you are living there in Ghana, and then you are part of contributing to the country. And beyond that, you can acquire the citizenship. But right now, it's something that our elders are working on to make it a little simpler. They were given a special citizenship by the outgoing government, but it has to be mandated and put into the system to where any of us can achieve that. But that's the time frame, 7 to 10 years, to answer your question directly.
Right. Okay. So you said the first thing you said the first residency is good for 1 to 5 years. Then you said you could live there
Which is
for
a visa.
7 years. So
Well, that's the duration of the visa. You can go back and forth up to
Right.
5 years, and you're building your residency by
okay.
applying at immigration for extended stay beyond your average. I want to say you get an average about 60 to 90 days. Beyond that, you have to register with immigration, let them know that you want to stay in the country.
Okay, but
Yeah,
if you
brother.
if you have a business, if you have a business or marry in, you could circumvent all that, right?
Exactly, and that's where you have to really communicate with immigration. So it's one of those things that you're not really going to be clear on until you go to immigration. But that's who handles everything for your extended stay. You just tell them what you want. Say, I want to live in the country for 5 years, and then they'll say, all right, this is the visa process of how we can let you live in the country. You have to maybe return, go out every year or so, or they'll tell you, so, but marrying to the culture helps it. And that's why I'm always one of the ones saying that, not telling anyone to, to break up with their spouse or anything. But I'm just saying, if you're single, marry into the culture, marry your fine African woman who just want to be your wife of your dreams.
I don't know how many wives does Bomani have.
No, I don't have. I got zero because I don't want a wife here, because one wife is like a world of trouble here. But if I go to Africa, you want to answer? If you ask me how much wife I had,
hold on a minute. I want to get to Brother Pianki's question because he's been the guy. Brother Pianki.
I would say 3.
What's going on? How you doing, Bomani?
Hey, greetings, brother. Always good talking to you, Brother Pianki. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing fine. It's a good conversation you have.
Appreciate it.
Have you looked into taking people on tours to Zambia?
No, I haven't. The last set of things I did was I started building a Brazil and Ethiopia brand, which I started this year, and documented a tour that I did in the summer of May and July this year. So you just limited, like every time I turn around, I'm loaded with Ghana videos and work to do and things. Yeah. So it just, but
Ethiopia's a good place to go to. Also,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Way all the way down to Lake Tana.
Yeah, so I'm saying that I got a fresh tour to Ethiopia and Brazil for next year. I just came from those countries. I just came from doing a tour there in Ethiopia in May and then Brazil in July. So those are small tours to get documentation. So I got a bunch of videos and pictures across Ethiopia. Went to seven cities in about 9 days. Lake Tana was one of them, actually.
Yeah, Lake Tana, you work your way that far down. Now, we did go down into Jinkum, but it had to get special people to go with you down there. As far south. But no, what you're doing is very good. I'm proud of you, as I had said. And we need to have more. We need to have some people to get involved in building and developing some resorts. And once you land there, then just like you are in any other country, they can put together a package where you can go further into the interior of the country and go here, stay there, go here and stay there. But there's a lot of opportunities along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I love about Ghana. Ghana is so incredible to where from the north, the middle, the south, it's a whole lot of things that you can get to, and then the landscape of what you're looking for is there. So we're working our way up, and we just have to. We're looking to build this GoFundMe energy, and looking to just build other things so we can just fund the operation. And I'm out doing business throughout the day, looking to build business and things that way we can just keep funding the vision and things we want, because we know how it is when you start depending on folks to give you loans and things, you just jeopardize your revolution. So we're doing everything. Yeah, everything has been done as independent as possible from the beginning. So just keeping the energy going. But it's just things just take longer than longer. But the good thing about it, you own your revolution. You're not puppet controlled.
Well, I'll let you get back to your conversation. I'll just continue to listen, unless Chef Ross got something for me to answer to.
Yeah, you want to know how many wives would you have in Ghana? You want to know how many wives would you have in Ghana?
I only got one wife in Ghana, Bomani.
No, Chef Rob wanted to know. That's because.
Yeah. Just one. But another thing too, I heard somebody talking about seeking dual citizenship. Liberia, in their constitution, the only people that can achieve citizenship in Liberia, as it's written, is the Negro. And African Americans don't take that up. They was born with that right, if that's what you want. Of course, if you became a citizen of Liberia, you would have an ECOWAS passport where you could go into any of those ECOWAS countries, which include Ghana, with that passport.
That is a nice solution. Because ECOWAS status ultimately is what you need. I mean, ultimately what you need is not a Ghana citizenship. And you're right. ECOWAS status is really what you need, which is the point I'm pulling from what you mentioned. So our elders there in Ghana, they say they're not pushing for Ghanaian citizenship. They're pushing for all of us to have ECOWAS status to where all of us can travel along and have access to all of the West African countries. Because my issue right now is that
Absolutely.
we're going to Ghana, Togo, Benin, and people are like complaining that they got to go send out all these visas and do all this stuff. And it's like, why isn't everything federated to where? But it's we have to be a part of that solution also.
What's the ECOWAS status again? I'm sorry, I was away from
ECOWAS status is to where it's an economic West African community. Africa was broken up into 5 different communities, and that's why we're called the 6th region. And West Africa represents between 16 to 18 countries, depends on how people count. And once you have ECOWAS status, if I'm born in Sierra Leone, I have ECOWAS status. Same thing as if I'm born in Ghana and any other West African country. So what we as a people really need is ECOWAS status so we can live and do business along all those African countries. And eventually a continental citizenship to where we can go beyond that. But West Africa is a good region to start because a lot of us find our DNA along the coast of West Africa. Like people always tell me that my DNA show I'm from Nigeria, from Cameroon, from Ghana, from Senegal, from the Gambia, and things like that. So it's a decent place to start.
Right, I mean, obviously, yeah, we should be having people push to talk to people in those conferences and whatnot to do something for us in the diaspora. I mean, goodness, we were taken, so.
Yeah, that's why we have elders and people who I know that's out there pushing on our behalf, and those of us who travel there and do things, it's all a part of that same energy. So that's what I'm also telling the people that the link of the Africa for the Africans energy is a whole network of us who believe in repatriation. Is just the more popular aspect is myself doing the tours and everything, but everything in between is a part of that whole energy. So it is I would say a small movement as far as numbers and things, but at the end of the day, we don't need many people in our mix. Like everybody I deal with is easy to manage and communicate and connect with, and we trust each other and we know how to deal with each other. And the people that we let in our zone of energy are people with like minds that see the vision of things, and we don't ever argue with people or try to convince people that this is what they need to do.
Right.
It's like something that they have to see, and that's why for me the greatest thing is to take people and show them Africa. Like, come with me. I'm not a tour guide. I'm a tour organizer. We organize things to me, organizing is kind of like presentation. You're putting things together to take a group of people and present it to them. Your tour guide is educating people about the country, and you're orchestrating all kind of things for them to see a wider, bigger vision. I know that, I've taken a lot of people to Ghana, over 250 different people, and I realize that not everybody see that vision, but I realize that sometimes it's something that's going to grow on people, because people have been through that experience and they realize what happened to me. You're re-educated into African consciousness, re-educated into being around your own people and seeing the kind of cultural empowerment that we can have around each other.
Right. So I guess, with that, kind of going back a little bit, how do you surmise that we could get people that are in the Pan-African mindset here, but just have not, been connected to groups such as yourself, as Africa for the Africans, and are just, are talking about sovereignty, but, just kind of stuck in the muck and the mire here? Like, how do we get them to, kind of see the bigger picture?
Yeah, I do my best to try to present things based on the level of documentation I can, which is just, from videos, pictures, to social energy, to meeting, to conference, to connecting with people. But it's the good thing about it, we don't need everybody, and many of these people can just fall off the planet. And the thing of it is, when you get to Africa, you have the people you need, and you have a young generation of energy coming up. To where the majority of people you're gonna meet in Africa is just very young, like under 21, and they're open to the future. They want jobs, they want opportunity, And when I was in Ethiopia, that's one of the things the Young Energy was upset about. They want to see more of themselves in jobs and opportunities and so on. So they were, pushing, and what better place to create opportunity where you have people that are ready to work, ready to be a part of the future.
Right. Okay.
It's
That's
more
all
about
there?
work. Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to say something real fast. I think it's more about how you putting out the message and putting out this message versus the message that's already out there. How Africa's horrible, terrible, everybody's starving and fighting. But then if you go, you can look a little bit beyond that. You can see a whole lot of Europeans that are thriving off their contacts and what's going on in that.
Yeah, I don't know no poor people in Africa. All the people that we know are rich people in Africa.
Again?
I don't know any poor white people. I do not know any poor white people in Africa. All the white people that we know that live in Africa are rich white people.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
A lot
so
of people don't,
I mean, we see people coming and going, and they
Ain't no
live
poor
the
black
life.
people living in Africa neither.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for clarification.
Right.
Yeah, but I say that to let people know that when they think of these folks are not they're when they live in Africa and when they do things in Africa, there's a reason why they're there. Is my point. They're there because life is good. They're not there because they're around a bunch of starving people or it's things are terrible there or people are killing each other. They're there because it's a great opportunity for them and they're in a great environment. I mean, I see them on a plane. I mean, I'm on Ethiopian Airlines. I'm on Delta, KLM. I see them on a plane. Yeah, I see them in the country driving around. Ain't nobody mugging them, robbing them, doing bad things to them. They just So if white people can enjoy your continent, I'm telling brothers and sisters, you can too. But it's just you might need to get a proper introduction. So that's why we offer the people a proper introduction. And if you're looking to do business, investment, repatriation, or if you're just looking to do a tour, or if you're just looking to get the hell away from here for the 2 weeks, those are the way we approach things, so people can see it in a more respectable way, and organized way, and where you get something out of it. You're not just going down to Brazil and you're just hanging out on the beach and chasing women all day. You're going somewhere where you're gonna get something out of it.
Right. Yeah. So, like, what would you say are some of the top exports out of I guess the central part of Ghana, and what
your exports are gonna be your food.
Materials in the Ghana?
I mean, exporting. When you're looking at the central part of Ghana, you're looking at the straight up farming. That's what people do. So all of them are gonna be the straight fruits and vegetables. That's how everybody in Accra, Kumasi, and all them other places eat, because they grow all the food up there and ship it down. So it's number one, a source to supply the country itself, but some of the goods that's in the country go to other countries that they trade with. But it's mangoes, orange, pineapples, shea butter, ingredients where people used to make black soap, and Ghana naturally is a country that any single medicine that you can think of, the herbs come from a country, that country. It comes from, so it's been blessed with all of the vegetation you need to sustain yourself.
I got a question for
Sure,
you.
go ahead.
Where did the containers come from?
What containers?
Where did the containers come from? You making the shea butter? Where do you get the plastic cups, bowls, whatever? Where did it come from?
Yeah, unfortunately, all these things are produced in Asia. These people literally make all the things that you need. So that's what I was talking about. We got to go back to manufacturing, to where if we need a piece of rope, we make it ourselves. Yeah. So as far as right now, that's the situation. Just like if you need equipment, it comes from somewhere else. So the only thing you're literally doing, you're putting the resources in the country and your work into it. Everybody else is supplying you with everything you need. So it's, but when you go with a mentality where you're trying to get away from that, that's where you build sustainable. So I'm just letting people know what goes on typically, but what you can also achieve. Just like you can revolutionize the shea butter investment there in Ghana and take it to a whole different level, but you need equipment and you need certain facility.
Wow.
And in the northern part of Ghana, the further you go into Ghana, the less quality rest stops you have. So that's like
What do you
one.
mean less quality? Hold on.
Yeah, and this is
What do you mean less quality? What is
that
what
mean
does that mean?
that mean in between a 5-hour ride, you might have one quality rest stop, and the rest is you going outside in a corner somewhere, or going in the back of the bushes.
Hey man, hey, we've been to Afghanistan before and all this other stuff with Yoruba, so whatever. Hell no, I want my freedom, man. I be with my people 24/7. Hell yeah, I'll do it again. We create our own places.
Yeah, exactly. My point is that a part of the investment is the things that people need. Like the number one complaints I get from people is that the toilets are jacked up, the bathroom is jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're preaching to the choir. It's like, I see the issues, so I have issues with it, but it's like, I can't fix the ILO bathrooms in the country. I can do my best to take people to a certain environment, but at the same time, too, you're not going to escape certain things in Ghana. Because if I need to drive several hours into the country, you're going to run into things where it might not be the most convenient for you to, it's wet wipes and bring certain things that way.
Yeah.
So we get people fully prepared, but
Right.
it's what it is at the same time. You're dealing with countries that are underfunded to where we don't do enough trade with each other, and the people that we do trade with are oppressors, the European nations and America. So you can basically see how people are going to get ripped off in these deals, and not enough resources go back to keep your country going.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The great irony is that we got plenty of plumbers that are African plumbers here, here in the States, across the diaspora. We got plenty of people that know how to do it, but they're stuck living here.
Yes, one thing that's incredible about America, if you need to learn a skill or a talent, you have access to resources to learn something. So, you can build that, and then when you actually get to the African continent, you can be a part of the work. Like, you come up to Techiman and Brown Hopper region, it's nothing but work to do. You go to Accra, you can just enjoy life. They got malls and all kind of fancy stuff that I don't even like. I don't even go into this. I can't remember last time I ran into the city of Atlanta. I live in the south side in Jonesboro. The furthest I would go is up into Decatur, and it's just you just have to get that out your mind. Get that out your mind. That because you have a mall. What the hell do you own in that mall? What do you own? You don't own none of the investments. You don't own none of the stores. You don't own nothing. You don't own. You don't manufacture none of the stuff that goes into the mall. What is the purpose of you even going there? We have to even think to that further. Where, why am I celebrating Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's? Why am I doing this? What is it benefiting me? But I'm one of the people that save all my money and then I'll be in Africa or somewhere or be in Brazil and I just have the time of my life and I come back and then make the sacrifice and do it all over. But that's me. But it's more. I'd rather just spend it with my own people and do business with my own people than just to waste everything here.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So yeah, in Accra they have all the craziness, like a mini Atlanta. We seeing girls walking around the malls with blonde weaves on their head.
Man, that place is super developed. We made one stop. I was so mad at the driver. I was like, why you guys stop at the mall? You know what I'm saying? The mall, and
they're accustomed to that.
And once they stop at the mall,
Atlanta,
people was like,
they come there. It's like, it's a tourist thing. I've even noticed that when I tell people about your tours, and half the people are like me want to go, but some people are just like they look at it as like a vacation type thing, and like it's another Jamaica or something like that, when really it's not the steed to be on.
Yeah. Absolutely, but to answer your question, yeah, they have the nice malls and I mean, Accra is nice, well developed. It's incredible. I mean, you have other parts of Accra that's maybe not as nice, but you got it going on. So I'm telling people, at worst, if you just really wanna, if you just want those things, you can go to Ghana and you can go to Africa and still enjoy those things. I mean, they'll give you a high. They have these incredible high rises that you can spend a few $1,000s on living. You can have anything you want. You're not deprived. It's just.
Yo, Chef.
Go ahead.
Yo, Chef.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on,
How
man?
you doing?
Well, I just got off work, bro. Yeah. Hey, you know what the actual, what do you think about the brother who's I forgot the brother's name, and the brother he's out of Nigeria, and I've been trying to go back to my Facebook deck to find an article, because I got the article, but for some reason I can't find it now. And he's supposed to be the one that he wants to invest $50 billion into America. My thing would be, well, he should invest that with black people. I don't know. But the thing is that he's supposed to have $50 billion. He's one of the richest men in Nigeria. And he wants to invest.
Probably a legal Dangote. That's part of
Huh?
it. His name is probably Aliko Dangote out of Nigeria.
Okay, it could be. I forgot the name, and I've been trying to go back to my deck and find that article because I normally keep stuff like that. But yeah, so he wants to do that. So I hope he's serious, and I hope he does it. But the thing is that this is why it's important that we connect from a African world view, connect that because we don't know when guys like this might come around and say, hey, I want to invest, you see, and none of us can step up to the plate to invest because we're not connected in the sense of from a business sense, so, that's one of the problems. A lot of us try to stay away from Africa instead of going to Africa, whether you go there physically or whether you go there mentally or whether you just read up and understand the current risk that's going on in Africa. A lot of us just won't do that. We just don't see that connection. A lot of us, don't do that, and I think that's a shame. But that's just how it go, I guess. So, but yeah, that's how I want to throw that out there right quick. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah. That's the only thing I really see is Africa. I mean, we have tried everything in this wicked, evil place, and we have been the best Negroes, the best slave, the best you can be, and we still don't get anywhere. And I know too many people I know personally that live in Africa, or living specifically in Ghana, and they live an incredible life. I've stayed at their homes, I've visited them. I've done a lot of my field research, moving around with them in the country during the 10 years, and I'll be killing myself if I didn't share this with my brothers and sisters, that this is a great movement for us to think about living and doing business in Africa and escaping from this wicked nation.
All right. Yeah.
Bomani, did you go by Brother Penny's place there in Cape Coast?
Yes, absolutely. I went to Mama Zulu, had a plot, and she wanted to share it with the group, so I told her let's go. And we also, went down by the beach, but I took them over there, and also we went to, we went by, I'm trying to remember the other, by different land site in Elmina.
In 2007, me and him found the land.
That's incredible. It's coming together.
It's 16 acres. And it's a story behind it, but I'm not going to tell the story.
Give us a good overview. I was saying, give us an overview.
No, I'm not going to tell the story. It's beautiful land. Right there within probably 100 yards of the ocean, and his daughter's building facilities there. But no, we were together. We found that land back in 2007 or 2006, one of the two.
And I mean, that's like,
and at the time, we was at that chalet that he stays in. and the chalet and the land, 10,000 square feet, was about, at that time, it was about $40,000 to have the chalet built and pay for the land. But I don't know what it is now.
Exactly, that sounds like some good investment. The thing about it, that after a while, we done spent 30, 40, 50, $100,000, and it's like whatever we got for our investment. So, getting the land, building certain things on the land, your home, your business, So just wanted people to see outside of the box what they can achieve. That realistically, the people I know that have been living in Africa, they don't fear living in, they don't have the fear of living in fear. They feel at home and they're, so, we're looking to take it to a different level. So I tell folks, if you have interest and you want to do your field research, come on our May 2018 tour to Ghana. That's May 23rd to June 5th, 2018. And you will see 4 regions of Ghana: the Brong-Ahafo region, Shanti region, Central region, and the Greater Accra region.
Just putting it out. Hey, we're just about there at that time. Hey, I wonder, Brother Dolphin, you there? Brother Dolphin, I got
Oh
you.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. Thank you for inviting me on. I've really enjoyed just listening to you guys.
Brother, go ahead and explain the project that you're working on right now with the food court.
Yeah, in Chicago, they had a taste of Black Chicago, where everything was sold, from soul food to vegan food to jerk food and everything in the meal, right? Raw food. And the realization came that we can feed ourselves, and we would end a lot of health issues as well as economic resurgence of ourselves by just the food. So the project is that we purchase a property. We're in the process of purchasing a property. We got a contract on one now in Chicago on a commercial strip to have a food court where we will sell. We're working on the details and the logistics of it, but it'll be open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and people can come and spend their money there to buy their food, prepared foods as well, all kind of prepared foods as well. Also, but the most important thing is that 20% of the net profit will go back into that community, and we will make sure that the consumption of food is a form of empowerment at the same time. So it's a heck of a project. It's about 10 people that's committed so far, Chef Rob, on that. But we want to build where we live, grow what we eat, manufacture what we consume, and buy where we own. And the first thing to start is with the food. Why? You may ask, why food? Well, because the Africans in the Americas spend 43% of the disposable income on food. In other words, they got $100 left over after paying all their expenses. They spend 43 of it on food. The tragedy is that 98% of the food that they buy is from people that don't look like us, don't care about us, and there's no love, energy in the food. So we want to start by feeding ourselves. So that's just a preliminary idea of what we're getting off to, but it's just in the shape and form stage. We haven't laid it all out, but the vision is to feed ourselves from the dirt to the plate.
Excellent, brother. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what we have to do, is self-sufficiency. And
Brother Buddy, before we go, I want you to go ahead and tell people about about the organization you're involved with, about the organization and what you're doing.
Yes, family. As far as Africa for Africans, our goal is to reconnect our people to the ancestral land, and we do it through the means of tours. And the main country that we deal with is Ghana, and Ghana is one of the main portals of our African Holocaust. They have the Elmina and Cape Coast Holocaust dungeons. So, and also that's where the Pan-African movement, independence movement in 1957, right there in Ghana, with Kwame Nkrumah, and Ghana leading independence. So, what we decided to do is just build a program around that, and also we found so many people that from the African diaspora that live and do business in Ghana, and they have found it to be their home, and they have also found this peace, happiness, and they have found all the things that they need. So what we have done is build a nice 2-week journey around Ghana that deals with roots, culture, business, investment, nightlife, shopping. And we have that program every May. And we have 2 business investment conference, and we have all of the links for repatriation investment that they need and all the additional help. And we do recommend people stay back a little longer, which we can also help them with those accommodations. So we just doing a full support for repatriation, and that's the main focus. And we do a whole lot of different technology aspect of things, a lot of video recording, pictures, a lot of presentations, a lot of details on website. And we do things in a point where we get people to really see what we have done in the past, and then they can judge it for themselves, and they can see if they feel it before they invest in traveling with us. So one of the main things I have is that YouTube page, youtube.com/Bomani 2007, and that showcase over 1,000 videos dealing with this traveling, mainly around Ghana, but also Ethiopia, Brazil, and also a lot of preparation as far as traveling, living, and doing business. So a lot of details we have is geared towards where it gets you ready, prepared, and connect you at a base level. And then we also have advanced things like the repatriation investment conference. So we just believe that we just give people things in a modern day light. So family, for those who are interested, you can check out the full details on our website at africafortheafricans.org. And then once you're on the site, you have access to all of the details, and you can just navigate and process it, and then reach out to me from there.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate all that. I want to thank everybody for calling. It's been great.
Thanks, Bomani. Thanks for
Just trying to figure out how to do this again. I've been having some issues. Also, I've been a little bit ill. So, kind of battling this illness here off and on.
Absolutely, family. I appreciate your energy. And
yeah, brother, I need to get with you. I need to get with you a little bit later on, okay, brother?
absolutely, yeah. Reach out anytime. I'll be here. I did miss you.
Yeah, I need to get with you because I don't have your current phone up. So I'm gonna try to get it. Give it to Jonathan. Give it to me. I need to talk to Dolphin real quick offline.
All right, family. I appreciate your energy, and you take care.
All right.
Thanks,
everybody.
Bomani.
All right, cool. All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
You take care.
Thank you so much, young man.
All right, family. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Appreciate your energy.